Welcome to the fantasy audiobook. Invincibility starts with God level selection. Chapter 81. The long black-haired man has a slightly strange look on his face. The next second, he burst out laughing. Although he didn't say anything, his sarcasm was self-evident. You are just a 5th level piece of trash. How many of us do you still want to contain? Do you really think of yourself as a savior? However, what he didn't notice was that Lin Yuan's body was already surrounded by azure thunder. At this moment, another person said directly, Sa Yin, there is no need to talk nonsense with this guy, time is limited, it's time to take action. It was only now that they finally knew each other's names. Sa Yin. Although he didn't know whether it was a name or a code name, Lin Yuan silently remembered it in his heart. He is a very vindictive person. Everyone who has a grudge against him will be dealt with one by him sooner or later when he becomes stronger. Then stop playing and let's do it. As Saiyan opened his mouth, everyone present turned towards Lin Yuan and the others to kill them. Lin Yuan took a deep look at the other party and said calmly, Sa Yin, the game has begun. The next second, Lin Yuan instantly activated the ability of the Thunder Fruit. His figure turned into a bolt of thunder, passing through the crowd, and after knocking away a 5th level warrior, he rushed out of their encirclement. Lin Yuan had been using his Sharingan to observe the surrounding situation long before, and quickly identified several weak points suitable for a breakout. When the opportunity came, Lin Yuan did not hesitate at all, and directly relied on the speed of the Thunder Fruit to forcefully rush out. However, after moving about 50 or 60 meters in an instant, Lin Yuan stopped. He turned around, hooked his hand towards Saiyan, and said calmly, if you don't want your mission to fail, bring someone here to hunt me down. Sa Yin finally couldn't maintain his previous calmness. He obviously did not expect that Lin Yuan, a mere 5th level warrior, could burst out with such terrifying speed in an instant. He made a prompt decision and said directly, Lu Chong, Han Zhu, you take 3 people to stay here, and the other 2, follow me. Of course Saiyan knew that Lin Yuan wanted to attract their firepower so that his companions could have a chance to escape. But he had to do this. After all, the purpose of their mission is Lin Yuan. If Lin Yuan cannot be killed, everything else is empty talk and has no meaning. After Saiyan spoke like this, the remaining 3 5th level warriors directly followed his pace and chased Lin Yuan in the direction. After Saiyan took away the 3 people, the situation quickly formed a 4 versus 5 situation. The pressure on Wang Tu and Shen Xiao's shoulders suddenly became much lighter. Although there is still a certain disadvantage in terms of numbers, Wang Tu and Shen Xiao are both elites of the same level. Even if one fights 2, they will not be at a disadvantage in a short period of time. Hence, the 2 sides have been fighting for a long time, and neither side has fallen into an obvious decline. Wang Tu frowned and asked in a deep voice, that kid has attracted so many people, will everything be okay? Logically speaking, if a 5th level warrior dares to attract the firepower of a 6th level warrior plus 3 5th level warriors, he will surely die long ago. But Wang Tu somehow felt that Lin Yuan would not die in the hands of others so easily. Shen Xiao said in a deep voice, since it was his own choice, he should have been prepared. If he is really dead, no matter which force the other party is, I will personally pick up the sword and kill him. Wang Tu grinned and said coldly, count me in. I have been in the Ministry of Military Affairs for so many years, and I can be considered a brother. If these idiots dare to bully me, I will kill their whole family. The 2 men talked without hesitation. The people fighting with them in front of them became more and more frightened as they listened. Have these 2 ruthless men begun to discuss revenge before they are out of trouble? The other side. Lin Yuan turned into a thunderbolt and shuttled crazily through this frosty ruined city, his body moving as fast as lightning. I want to see how long you can run. Behind him were Saiyan, who was in hot pursuit, and 3 other 5th level warriors. At this time, Saiyan no longer had the calm look he had before, and his face was full of ferocity and ruthlessness. The 3 5th level warriors behind him already looked a little bitter. Even though they tried their best to chase him, they still couldn't even touch the corner of Lin Yuan's clothes. He is also a 5th level warrior. How can this guy be so fast? After chasing for so long, they have begun to lose their strength. Boss Saiyan, we really can't do it anymore. Among the three of them, one finally couldn't hold on any longer and spoke with a bitter look on his face. Sa Yin frowned, glanced at them, and ordered, "You just go around and see if you can block him from the front." As commanded, after Saiyan opened his mouth, the three of them dispersed as if they had received a general amnesty. Lin Yuan obviously noticed this scene. He turned his head over without slowing down, and sneered mercilessly, "What's wrong? I won't chase you now. You only have so little to gain, why should you be a killer? Go home and drink milk." Under Lin Yuan's sarcasm, a hint of embarrassment clearly flashed across Saiyan's face. "Boy, don't be too crazy, do you really think I can't do anything to you?" With a thought in his mind, Sa Yin directly used several flying knives. Under the urging of mental power, these flying knives shuttled towards Lin Yuan at extremely fast speeds. The latter's expression was stern, and his Sharingan was activated to the extreme. He managed to avoid 3 flying knives, and successfully blocked one with the alloy sword in his hand. But even so, a flying knife still pierced Lin Yuan's right shoulder. Lin Yuan endured the pain and pulled out the sharp flying knife. For a time, the wound was bleeding profusely. An object control master's ability to control objects is linked to the strength of his mental power. Sa Yin's mental power is strong enough, and the flying knife he throws is naturally extremely fast. Even if Lin Yuan could barely see the trajectory of the flying knife clearly with the 3 Magatama Sharingan, with his speed, it would be difficult to avoid it. In fact, Lin Yuan has another option, which is to elementalize his body to avoid being pierced by flying knives. However, after all the way to activate the ability of the Thunder Fruit, Lin Yuan was already a little exhausted, and he was simply unable to elementalize his body as he wished. In this case, you must take fairy beans. Lin Yuan did not hesitate, turned his hand and took out a green fairy bean and swallowed it. The next moment, a warm current spread directly from his abdomen towards his limbs. This is a rather mysterious feeling, as if my whole body is wrapped in a warm current. Lin Yuan could clearly feel that his physical strength was rapidly recovering. He glanced at his right shoulder and found that the wound on it was also beginning to heal at a speed visible to the naked eye. In just 10 seconds, new granulations had already grown. It probably won't take long for scabs to form. Even Lin Yuan had to sigh at the wonder of fairy beans. Sa Yin did not notice the strange phenomenon that happened to Lin Yuan. In his opinion, Lin Yuan should have exhausted all his strength after chasing him to this extent. Go to hell. With a ferocious look on his face, Sa Yin activated 5 flying knives again and charged towards Lin Yuan. Facing the flying knives whizzing in front of him, Lin Yuan's expression remained unchanged. He stood there very calmly and whispered 4 words, "My body turns into thunder." The next second, these 5 flying knives passed through his body in an instant, as if passing through a thunder curtain. After taking the fairy beans, Lin Yuan's physical condition reached its peak again. With enough physical strength, Lin Yuan can elementalize his body as he wishes. This purely physical attack cannot hurt him at all. How can it be? Sa Yin's complexion changed drastically. What happened in front of him was really weird. Could it be that this is this guy's superpower? But in the information provided to him by the organization, there was no mention at all that Lin Yuan had such strange powers. Let's see how long you can defend yourself. Sa Yin gritted his teeth and once again used his mental power to control the flying knife, slashing towards Lin Yuan crazily. He doesn't believe that the other party can really use his powers without any restrictions. However, Lin Yuan would not be so stupid as to let the opponent continue the attack. He quickly turned around, turned into a bolt of thunder, and flew into the distance. Lin Yuan's escape was not an escape without purpose. He has been escaping towards the depths of this frosty ruined city. Because only in this way can he have a chance to escape Saiyan's pursuit. Warriors who have experience in hunting exotic beasts all know this. In an abandoned city inhabited by such strange beasts, the deeper you go, the more dangerous it becomes. Because the deeper you go, the higher the level of the strange beasts. If Saiyan showed a hint of cowardice, Lin Yuan would be able to escape. This boy is really difficult to deal with. Sa Yin's face showed hatred. Logically speaking, an ordinary 5th-level warrior should be exhausted long ago after being hunted for so long. However, Lin Yuan in front of him seemed to have inexhaustible physical strength. Actually, what Saiyan didn't know was that Lin Yuan had already taken 3 fairy beans in order to prevent him from catching up. In other words, Lin Yuan's physical strength has been exhausted 3 times so far. Sa Yin is impatient, so why is Lin Yuan not impatient? When the last 2 fairy beans in his hand are used up, then he is really a piece of fish on the chopping board, ready to be slaughtered. No, we have to think of something. Lin Yuan's face darkened slightly. However, just when he had this idea, the selection system was triggered again. Option 1. Continue to escape until you get rid of Saiyan's pursuit. Reward: 5,000 points of vitality and blood, 3,000 Hercules of mental power. Option 2. Flee 4,560 meters southeast, lure Saiyan to the lair of the 7th level alien beast, Silver Moon Sirius, use the alien beast to kill people with a borrowed knife. Reward: 5,000 points of vitality and a power upgrade card. The option is triggered. Lin Yuan perked up and quickly browsed through the options in front of him. 7th level strange beast, Silver Moon Sirius. Lin Yuan frowned and began to think in his heart. He can indeed continue to flee, but if Saiyan is still unwilling to give up the pursuit, he may not be able to survive. You can lead Saiyan to the Silver Moon Sirius, which is also a way to get chestnuts out of the fire. After all, alien beasts have always been extremely cruel. As long as they are human beings, they are all enemies. Even if Lin Yuan could successfully kill someone with a borrowed knife and let Saiyan die at the hands of Silver Moon Sirius, he might not be able to escape from being chased by a 7th level alien beast. However, Lin Yuan's habit is to place all his hopes on himself. Instead of betting on whether Saiyan will give up, it is better to give it a try yourself. Even if he fails in the end, he can still pull Saiyan into trouble. Isn't it just death? Let's all die together. If you offend me, you won't even think about it easy. Thinking of this, Lin Yuan did not hesitate, turned around and rushed towards the southeast. The distance of more than 4,500 meters could be reached in less than a few minutes at Lin Yuan's current speed. Sa Yin had no doubts at all and followed Lin Yuan's pace closely. 5 minutes later, on a street in the Frost Waste City, Lin Yuan stopped. Sa Yin frowned and also stopped walking. He was in no hurry to attack. In Saiyan's opinion, since Lin Yuan would choose to stop on his own initiative, there must be something fishy going on. Lin Yuan looked at Saiyan calmly, smiled and said, "I advise you not to fight me here." Saiyan sneered. "Why?" Lin Yuan did not answer, just said, "You can try." Sa Yin's eyes flickered. On the one hand, he was afraid that this was Lin Yuan's trap. On the other hand, he felt that Lin Yuan was playing tricks and trying to delay time. After hesitating for a moment, Saiyan finally made up his mind. The most taboo thing for a killer like him is to be hesitant. So, Saiyan gritted his teeth and finally chose to take action. With a thought in his mind, his majestic mental power instantly vibrated in all directions, and he launched 5 flying knives suspended in midair. Just when Saiyan chose to take action, an extremely powerful pressure came directly towards them, as if some terrifying monster had awakened. A ferocious wolf howl, like thunder on a rainy night, suddenly exploded in the ears of the two of them. At this high-pitched wolf howl, even the surrounding buildings began to shake slightly. However, Lin Yuan was not surprised at all. He turned around, looked at the horrified Saiyan with a smile, and said calmly, "Look, I told you not to do anything here." Sa Yin's expression changed drastically. No matter how stupid he is, he should know what happened by now. There is obviously an extremely powerful beast occupying this place. Judging from the movement in front of us, what is entrenched here is most likely a 7th level strange beast. Sa Yin looked at Lin Yuan with slightly cold eyes. "You brought me here because you want to die with me. In the territory of 7th level alien beasts, it is very likely that they will not survive." Lin Yuan smiled and said calmly, "Didn't you force me to do this?" He has no choice. If he wants to completely solve Saiyan, he can only choose to do this. "You daughter, very good." Sa Yin gritted his teeth and turned around, obviously preparing to escape. He is timid. Even if he couldn't complete the task, he couldn't risk his own life. However, before Saiyan had time to leave, at the corner of the street, a silver-white beast figure suddenly swooped towards Saiyan. 7th level strange beast, Silver Moon Sirius. The silver giant wolf in front of me was about 2 stories high, its fur was as silver as ice and snow, and its ice blue wolf eyes seemed to be hiding a bright white moon, exuding endless frosty air. The higher the level of the beast, the stronger the territorial awareness. Sa Yin's mental power was shaking just now, which obviously disturbed the Silver Moon Sirius here. The latter naturally targeted him for killing. You must know that even alien beasts of the same level do not dare to invade the territory of other alien beasts unless they want to start a war. Let alone, Sa Yin is still a human being. Yinyu Sirius opened his mouth wide, and bit directly at Saiyan with his sharp fangs. The latter's complexion changed drastically, and his mental power quickly shook. He forcibly dragged his body into the air, barely avoiding the bite of the Silver Moon Sirius. Logically speaking, only 7th level warriors can fly in the air. But those with mental abilities are an exception. To be precise, they cannot be said to be flying in the air, they are just using their spiritual power condensed into substance to forcibly hold themselves up. After Saiyan's body took off, Silver Moon Sirius obviously had no intention of letting him go. I saw a ferocious look flash in its wolf eyes, and the next second, a silvery moon-like light suddenly bloomed and shrouded Sa Yin. For a moment, Saiyan only felt that the spiritual power he had condensed into substance was torn apart like rags. Even among the 7th level beasts, the Silver Moon Sirius is an extremely powerful existence. Because it is fierce enough, cruel enough, strength, speed, explosive power, are all the pinnacle among the 7th level beasts. The most important thing is that Silver Moon Sirius's mental power is also extremely strong. It is one of the rare beasts among all the beasts that can use mental power to fight. In front of Silver Moon Sirius, the mental power that Sa Yin had gathered was not worth mentioning at all. Sa Yin looked horrified. After his spiritual power was torn apart by the silver light, it was obvious that he could no longer maintain his airborne state. Lin Yuan, save me. Otherwise, if I die, you won't be able to survive. Only the 2 of us can deal with this Silver Moon Sirius together, can we have a chance? As his body fell, Saiyan fell into despair. The Silver Moon Sirius in front of him was much more terrifying than he imagined. At the moment of life and death, Saiyan roared at the top of his lungs, and even placed his hope on a 5th level warrior like Lin Yuan. It's a pity that Lin Yuan is not a fool. Not to mention whether he has the strength to stop the Silver Moon Sirius in front of him. Even if there is, why would he do this? He was chased all the way by Saiyan, and his shoulder blade was pierced by flying knives at least 3 times. Lin Yuan has long been determined to kill Saiyan. So what if I can't escape the pursuit of the Silver Moon Sirius? I just want to see you die first. Silver Moon Sirius opened its mouth again and bit directly at Saiyan, who fell from the sky. This time, the latter is inevitable. Tisk. With a soft sound, Silver Moon Sirius closed its teeth and bit Saiyan's body into 2 pieces. Gurgling blood, as if it was free of money, gushes out from the broken part of Saiyan's body. The latter's face was ferocious, full of despair and madness. He stared at Lin Yuan and said bitterly, "Even if you kill me, you won't survive. I'm waiting for you. I'm waiting for you to go to with me." Sa Yin seemed to want to curse something. But Silver Moon Sirius did not give him this opportunity. It saw its head raised up and swallowed the other half of Saiyan's body. Ce. The sound of cracking bones kept coming from the mouth of Silver Moon Sirius. Blood dripped down the corner of Silver Moon Sirius's mouth, and some of it was stained on its silver-white fur, making it particularly dazzling. Sa Yin is dead. In front of the 7th level alien beast, even though he was a 6th level mentalist, he had no power to fight back and directly became the prey of the Silver Moon Sirius. After swallowing Saiyan into his belly, Silver Moon Sirius slowly turned around. A pair of wolf eyes looked at Lin Yuan coldly. Silver Moon Sirius doesn't care whether he brought Sa Yin or not. Although the 7th level alien beasts already possess some intelligence, this still does not prevent them from treating all humans as enemies. Under the pressure of the 7th level beast, Lin Yuan felt that it was slightly difficult to even breathe. Lin Yuan took another fairy bean and adjusted his physical condition to its peak state. Shua. The next second, Lin Yuan disappeared instantly, leaving only a blue thunder shadow. He wanted to try to see if he could escape the pursuit of the Silver Moon Sirius with the speed of the thunder fruit. In almost just one breath, Lin Yuan teleported hundreds of meters away with the force of thunder. However, the figure of Silver Moon Sirius turned into a silvery white afterimage. His speed is faster than Lin Yuan's, not slower. When Lin Yuan stopped, Silver Moon Sirius was still standing in front of him. In a pair of ferocious and cold wolf eyes, there is still a hint of humanized teasing. It was as if he was mocking Lin Yuan's futility. Looking at Silver Moon Sirius, who was not ready to let him go, Lin Yuan couldn't help but have a bitter smile on his lips. It seems that now that things have come to an end, I can only take a gamble. As for whether it can succeed, it depends on God's will. Seeing Lin Yuan no longer running away, Silver Moon Sirius also lost interest in teasing its prey. I saw its hind paws kicking the ground suddenly, and the wolf's body instantly turned into a silver-white afterimage, charging towards Lin Yuan fiercely. Yin Yu Sirius was extremely fast, and in an instant, he was in front of Lin Yuan. The Silver Moon Sirius was furious. As long as its teeth were closed, it could easily bite off Lin Yuan's head. The distance between the man and the beast was so close that Lin Yuan could even smell the blood in its mouth. However, time seems to have stopped at this moment. Silver Moon Sirius has not bitten off Lin Yuan's head for a long time, because its body shape froze in place. What Lin Yuan was holding in his hand was the mysterious pendant he had dug out from Guanlong's body earlier. He flipped the switch without hesitation, causing the black crystal to appear in the air. You must know that this black crystal can scare strange beasts. At first, Lin Yuan opened the pendant unintentionally and scared away a 4th-level red flame wolf. But Lin Yuan himself has no idea whether this black crystal can be effective against 7th-level beasts. So he can only gamble. Take your own life and make a big gamble. Whether he can escape from the wolf's mouth depends entirely on whether this black crystal can take effect. One person and one wolf, just in a stalemate. However, Lin Yuan could clearly see that there was a bit of panic and fear in Silver Moon Sirius's wolf eyes. Lin Yuan gritted his teeth, plucked up the courage, and took a step forward. Unexpectedly, Silver Moon Sirius took a step back with fear on his face. A 7th-level strange beast was actually scared away by a 5th-level warrior. No, exactly. He was frightened away by the black crystal in the pendant in Lin Yuan's hand. After tasting the sweetness, Lin Yuan took another step forward. This time, Silver Moon Sirius let out a shrill howl, then turned around suddenly and ran away without looking back. Only Lin Yuan was left standing there with a confused look on his face. Brother Wolf, don't you even want your territory? Brother Wolf, this is your territory, should you be so cowardly? Lin Yuan looked at the mysterious pendant in his hand. The black crystal seemed to shine under the light. He couldn't help but swallow. This thing was really beyond his expectations. Surprisingly, even 7th-level beasts can be frightened. What is the origin of this black crystal? The other side. Wang Tu and a few others became more and more courageous as they fought, and actually suppressed the opponent. Soon, the rescue team from the Ministry of Armed Forces also rushed over. Seeing that the situation was irreversible, the killers chose to flee. These people are not targets anyway. It would be better if they can be killed. If they really cannot be killed, there is no need to continue to pester them. Lin Yuan should have died long ago under the pursuit of Saiyan and the others, right? After all, Saiyan is a 6th-level mentalist with many treacherous methods and extremely strong strength. However, what they don't know is, it was Saiyan who was extremely powerful in their eyes, but he was tricked by Lin Yuan to the point where not even his bones were left. Are there any casualties on your side? The leader of the rescue team is a middle-aged man in his 40s. At this moment, Shen Xiao and the others are receiving medical treatment from Ding Xiaoyao. Ding Xiaoyao stretched out her hands, and dots of green light suddenly emerged from her palms. Any wounds that come into contact with these green lights are healing at a speed visible to the naked eye. Wang Tu shook his head and said, I was slightly injured, it's not a problem. However, one of us is missing. Missing. The rescue captain frowned. Wang Tu nodded and pointed in the direction of Lin Yuan's escape. In order to attract firepower, he fled deep alone. Deep. Now we're in big trouble. The rescue captain's expression changed, and his expression became slightly solemn. Shen Xiao interjected. Is there no way to rescue? There is no way. The rescue captain shook his head and said, "The deeper you go, the stronger the frost force field formed by the ice demon armored dragon becomes. Even the signal from the sensor cannot be transmitted. This is why you are only allowed to hunt exotic beasts in the periphery. Furthermore, in 7 or 8 minutes, the war will break out. Even the rescue team is not allowed to enter. You must leave here immediately to avoid unnecessary casualties." Wang Tu's face darkened. "Then what do you mean, let that kid die there?" The rescue captain smiled bitterly. "It just depends on his luck. I don't want this to happen, but it's a pity that the situation is like this." Wang Tu took a deep breath and said calmly, "I understand." At this moment, Shen Xiao suddenly stood up. "In that case, I will go in alone and find him." "Come back here." Wang Tu stood up suddenly and grabbed Shen Xiao's shoulders. "Stop messing around. With your strength, even if you go in, you will only lose an extra life." Shen Xiao remained silent and made no protest. Because what Wang Tu said is indeed an indisputable fact. "Listen to me, if you were really that boy's friend, then don't do such stupid things. Believe in that boy, believe that he can come back alive. If you can't come back, I, Wang Tu, will personally take the people to find him. Even if I turn this Frost City upside down, I will see people alive and corpses after death." Listening to Wang Tu's words, even though he was as indifferent as Shen Xiao, his eyes couldn't help but turn slightly red. He could hear the sincerity in Wang Tu's words. Although they only fought together for 12 hours, Wang Tu already regarded Lin Yuan as his comrade in arms. They can be regarded as not knowing each other without fighting. "What a man, why are your eyes so red?" Wang Tu spat disdainfully and said in a deep voice, "Don't worry, that little monster's life is tough enough, he won't die that easily." Outside the Frost City, inside the marching tent, 3 figures are sitting opposite each other, all of them closing their eyes and concentrating. There are 3 people in total, 2 men and 1 woman. Although there is no chi revealed, just from the temperament on their bodies, it can be seen that the 3 of them are definitely top powerhouses. At this moment, the door of the marching tent was slowly opened. A middle-aged man in military uniform bowed deeply to the 3 people in front of him and said, "3 venerables, the time has come." For a moment, the 3 of them opened their eyes at the same time, as if they had woken up from a meditative state. "There seems to be a bright light emerging from the bottom of my eyes." Among the 3 of them, a bald man stood up first. He was as tall as a demon ape. He grinned and said calmly, "You two, since the time has come, let's go meet the ice demon armored dragon." The 1st level of martial arts, the 7th level, can be called a master. 9th level, one can become a king of heaven. As for the 8th level warriors between the 2, they are respected as venerables. The 3 people in the marching tent are all 8th level venerables. Moreover, the 3 of them are all mentors of Mowu. Today, under the orders of the Ministry of Military Affairs, I came to kill the ice demon armored dragon. After the bald man spoke, the other 2 people nodded. Then, the 3 of them slowly walked out of the camp, and suddenly rose into the air, flying towards the direction of the Frost City. Everyone on Earth should look up to him. This is the 8th level venerable. 3 of them, they should all be mentors of the magic martial arts, right? What a pity, if they were warriors from our military department, we might still be able to get in touch with them. Who says it's not the case? The 3 of them are already considered the top instructors in Mowu. Blood Lotus Monk, Wang Tianji. Scarlet Flame Witch, Li Fengyu. Shang King, Huang Hanshan. Of the 3 of them, none of them are famous and powerful. Looking at the entire Mowu, I am afraid that only Wang's online, the God-slaying sword, you can stabilize them. While everyone was discussing, the 3 people had already left in the air, leaving only 3 black spots in the sky. After Lin Yuan scared off the Silver Moon Sirius, the reward he chose was also distributed. Ding! Congratulations to the host for successfully completing the choice. You will be rewarded with 5,000 points of vitality and a power upgrade card. As the chi and blood in Lin Yuan's body trembled, his strength has once again reached a new level. Lin Yuan thought and opened his attribute panel directly. Host, Lin Yuan. Level, early stage of 5th level. Chi and blood, 42,568 points. Mental power, 14,657 Hz. Power, Melt Knight. Special skills, 3 Magatama Sharingan, 7 styles of the Absolute Sword. Now, in terms of basic energy and blood, he is almost on par with Shen Xiao. However, if Shen Xiao activates his supernatural power and enters the wolf state, it is unclear which of the two of them is stronger and weaker. By the way, there is also a power absorption card and a power upgrade card. Lin Yuan flipped his right hand and pulled out 2 cards from the system space. Unfortunately, the ability absorption card can only be used when the opponent is dying. Saiyan, whose whole body bones were chewed by the Silver Moon Sirius, obviously does not meet this standard. Maybe, it might have been digested now. Otherwise, Lin Yuan would quite like Xia Yin's Tian Yuan ability. Group invisibility is much more useful than limited individual invisibility. If Melting Night is an intermediate power, then Tian Yuan should obviously belong to the category of high-level power. Since the ability absorption card cannot be used, we can only consider the ability upgrade card first. Lin Yuan touched his chin and talked to himself thoughtfully. The ability upgrade card, as the name suggests, allows you to upgrade your own abilities. Now he only has the power of Melting Night. After deliberation for a moment, Lin Yuan finally chose to use this ability upgrade card. After all, although Melting Night is a very useful ability, it is too restrictive and can only be activated in darkness. Lin Yuan wanted to take the opportunity of upgrading his abilities to see if he could try to eliminate this restriction. After using the power upgrade card, it directly turned into dots of light and integrated into his body. At the same time, Lin Yuan felt a rather strange feeling. It was as if something was breaking out of a cocoon and being reborn in his body. Ding! Congratulations to the host for successfully upgrading the intermediate ability, Melting Night, to the advanced ability, Xian. After the power is upgraded, the host can enter the invisible state anytime and anywhere. In the process, the fluctuations in blood and mental power will not be leaked. While the power is being cast, the host cannot breathe. Once you breathe, the ability will be automatically released. The ability upgrade is completed. Lin Yuan's face showed a hint of joy. After upgrading to Xian, the restrictions are indeed reduced. At the very least, now you don't need to be in a dark environment, you just need to hold your breath to enter the invisible state. For a warrior of Lin Yuan's level, holding one's breath for a few minutes is simply a piece of cake. The next second, Lin Yuan held his breath, and his hidden power suddenly activated. His figure also escaped into hiding. After possessing this power, Lin Yuan was more confident in escaping from this place. After all, this place already belongs to the core area of this Frost City, and there are extremely ferocious beasts everywhere. Roar! Just as Lin Yuan was about to leave, a thunderous roar of a dragon suddenly came from not far away. To be more precise, this dragon's roar was like a substantial sound wave, vibrating in all directions. So, under this dragon roar, the surrounding buildings began to tremble violently, and ice chips fell down. Icy demonic armored dragon. Lin Yuan's heart sank and he quickly reacted. He had been entangled with Saiyan for so long that he missed the best time to evacuate. Those 3 8th level sages from Mowu are already preparing to fight the ice demon armored dragon. City of Frost, the center. The ice demon Ankylosaurus has set up its lair in an open-air gymnasium. Because only this kind of building with a large enough area can accommodate such a huge dragon body. 3 figures stood in the sky, staring at the huge ice dragon below with cold eyes. Roar! The ice demon armored dragon felt as if it had been provoked. It raised its head and roared again. Little dragon, stop barking. I'll come down and deal with you right now. The bald man cracked his knuckles, and a sinister smile appeared on his face. His upper body was bare, and on his back was a tattoo of a scarlet lotus flower. The blood lotus bloomed, looking so strange. This bald man is Wang Tianji, known as the Blood Lotus Monk. It is said that before he became famous, he became a monk and practiced Buddhism for 10 years. It's a pity that these 10 years have not eradicated Wang Tianji's ferocity at all. 10 years later, Wang Tianji left Buddhism and had a lotus tattooed on his back. Since then, he has been fighting monsters and other warriors all the way, and he has earned the title of Blood Lotus Demonic Monk. However, Wang Tianji was ultimately defeated by Wang Zonlin. At the beginning, he made a bet with Wang Zonlin. That is, when Wang Zonlin suppresses his own strength to the 8th level, the two of them will fight. If Wang Tianji loses, he will join Mowu and teach for 5 years. Obviously, Wang Tianji was defeated at the hands of Wang Zonlin. Moreover, in that battle, Wang Tianji was convinced that he was defeated. Because Wang Zonlin didn't even draw a sword. Even if he is fighting with him, Wang Zonlin is still maintaining his sword. Wang Tianji is a person who is willing to admit defeat. So, to this day, Wang Tianji is still teaching at Mowu. This time, the reason why he was sent to participate in the siege of the Ice Demon Armored Dragon was because Wang Tianji was strong enough. Secondly, it is also because Wang Tianji's qi and blood characteristics, which are extremely strong and extremely positive, can restrain the ice attribute of the Ice Demon Armored Dragon. Let's have some appetizers first. Wang Tianji smiled ferociously, and his energy and blood suddenly surged out from around him, condensing into a solid form in midair. He used his own energy and blood to condense a monstrous lotus. This blood lotus is huge in size, almost like a lotus platform. Even Lin Yuan, who was thousands of meters away from here, could clearly see the lotus condensed by Wang Tianji. Blood lotus, give it to me. Wang Tianji laughed wildly, directly controlled the blood lotus in front of him, and suppressed the Ice Demon Armored Dragon below. After Wang Tianji took action, the Ice Demon Armored Dragon was also completely angered. It directly opened a pair of dragon wings behind it. The dragon wings with a cold color seemed to block out the sky and the sun. The next second, the Ice Demon Armored Dragon flapped its wings, and its body suddenly rose into the air. Under the dragon wings, the air flow surged away like a surging hurricane. Under the violent hurricane tornado, ice shards flew everywhere. Facing the blood lotus with majestic energy and blood escaping in front of him, the Ice Demon Armored Dragon opened its huge mouth angrily. Hoo! A burst of biting ice-cold dragon breath suddenly spat out from the mouth of the Ice Demon Armored Dragon. The endless frost and cold surged toward the blood lotus. The power of qi and blood collided with the extremely cold frost, making a sound like a hot pot cooking oil. Under the extremely cold breath of the Ice Demon Armored Dragon, the color of the blood lotus gradually dimmed. Finally, with the soft sound of frost congealing, the blood lotus was completely frozen in the frost. Wang Tianji, it seems like your HP is nothing special. No wonder I was defeated by the principal. Seeing Wang Tianji deflated, the stunning woman next to him covered her mouth and chuckled. This tall, beautiful woman with burgundy hair is another famous 8th level powerhouse in the Magic City Martial Arts University. The Red Flame Witch, Li Fengyu. There are rumors that there is an unexplained relationship between her and the principal of Mowu, Wang Zonlin. There are also rumors that it was because of Wang Zonlin that Li Fengyu rejected the invitation from Yanjing Wuhan University and came to teach at Wudu University in Shanghai. However, the authenticity of this rumor has yet to be verified. After being laughed at by her, instead of getting angry, Wang Tianji smiled freely. Li Fengyu, this little dragon cub is not that simple. Otherwise, that guy Wang Zonlin wouldn't have sent all 3 of us out. Makes sense. Li Fengyu nodded and smiled coquettishly. Then let me try its strength. She slowly stretched out her 2 white jade-like arms, and danced in the air with a strange gesture, just like an ancient singer and dancer. This is the Dance of Flame, created by Li Fengyu. Can better mobilize the power of qi and blood in the body. As her arms danced like snakes, wisps of energy and blood flowed out from her palms and hung in the air. In just a few seconds, hundreds of qi and blood powers gathered around Li Fengyu. Li Fengyu slowly stopped his movements, stretched out his jade-white fingers, and lightly snapped his fingers. Snapped. At the same time, Li Fengyu slowly spit out one word, burn. The power of blood and qi condensed into strands around her suddenly burned. Just like the fire arrows lit with oil when the 2 armies were fighting in ancient times, the momentum was amazing. Hundreds of blood-burning arrows lingered around Li Fengyu's body. The dazzling firelight made her face even more beautiful. Wang Tianji on the side. Every time I see you perform your special powers, it's a pleasure. That's right, this is Li Fengyu's superpower. Burn blood. As long as she is willing, she can burn the power of her blood anytime and anywhere to unleash even more powerful power. Go. Li Feng tapped her jade finger lightly. 100 arrows fired in unison. Hundreds of burning energy and blood arrows suddenly attack the ice demon armored dragon. Roar! The figure of the ice demon armored dragon soars into the sky, and the power of the dragon shakes the sky. Following its roar, a thick wall of frost suddenly formed in front of it at an extremely fast speed. All the blood-burning arrows were blocked by the ice wall. However, after withstanding about 80 or 90 blood-burning arrows, the ice wall in front of him could no longer bear the power of such an explosion of blood-burning arrows. It suddenly burst open and exploded into ice shards all over the sky. The ice demon armored dragon directly stretched a pair of wide dragon wings in front of it to block the remaining blood-burning arrows. Every place affected by the blood arrows was scorched black, as if it had been extremely severely burned. It's a pity that the number of blood-burning arrows that can hurt the ice demon armored dragon is too few in the end. For a dragon that is as big as a mountain, this is just a minor injury. The fluctuations of the fighting soon spread to Lin Yuan. After all, this is a battle between an 8th level warrior and an 8th level alien beast. Just the residual power can spread to the surrounding area several thousand meters away. Under the power of the ice demonic armored dragon, the strange beasts in this city finally rioted. All strange beasts sense danger. Seeking advantages and avoiding disadvantages is the instinct of living things. So, under the riot, all the strange beasts were fleeing outside the city. In this case, Lin Yuan chose to activate the hiding state without hesitation, trying not to attract the attention of these fleeing beasts. Because, in less than a minute, 3 or 4 6th level beasts that wanted to escape had already passed by him. If he had released his invisibility state and exposed his body to these violent beasts, he would have been torn into pieces long ago, and how could he still be standing here? Lin Yuan moved cautiously in the invisible state. When the number of strange beasts decreased a little, he was ready to leave here. However, just as Lin Yuan was thinking this, the option to select the system was triggered completely unexpectedly. Option 1. Avoid the surrounding strange beasts as much as possible and escape from this place safely. Reward. Erase the host. Option 2. Take advantage of the great opportunity of the alien beast riot and take refuge in the lair of the ice demon armored dragon. Reward. 5,000 blood points, 3,000 mental power, superpower fusion card. Lin Yuan. He didn't even know where to start complaining. What the hell, what options are you triggering for me at this time? Speaking of which, can erasing the host be called a reward? You especially don't cheat on me. Moreover, what's the point of escaping to the lair of the ice demon armored dragon? Which place is the most dangerous? How can any system push the host into the fire pit like this? Lin Yuan now seriously suspects that this system simply wants to kill himself and then find a new host. System prompt. The host is asked to make a choice as soon as possible. Lin Yuan. Do I have any other choice? If I dare to choose the first option, wouldn't I be directly obliterated by you? Lin Yuan took a deep breath and said helplessly, I choose the second option. Mater, isn't it the lair of the ice demon armored dragon? What's the harm in taking a chance? Lin Yuan turned his head and looked at the nest of the ice demon armored dragon in the distance, thinking fiercely. At this moment, an ice cone the size of a heavy-duty truck roared directly from that area and smashed a huge crater next to Lin Yuan. Looking at the scene in front of him, Lin Yuan couldn't help but take a breath of cold air. If this happens to you, what's the point? Thinking of this, Lin Yuan couldn't help but swallowed. It seems that over there, it's more dangerous than I imagined. In mid-air, 3 8th level warriors have already started a formal battle with the ice demon armored dragon. Wang Tianji directly covered his body with qi and blood layer by layer, and used the qi and blood to pile up into a 5 or 6 meter high qi and blood phantom. This is not a secret skill. As long as the qi and blood reaches the level of a 7th level master, you can condense the qi and blood into a shadow. However, few people use it in actual combat. After all, this just looks stronger, but it will make the power of qi and blood more dispersed. However, this move is particularly necessary to deal with huge beasts like the ice demon armored dragon. Wang Tianji fought in close quarters with the ice demon armored dragon, and his fists seemed to shatter mountains and rivers. The roaring sound of qi and blood is endless. Pong! At this moment, the ice demon armored dragon roared, and its huge dragon tail forced its way toward Wang Tianji. The latter was still attacking crazily, but for a moment he couldn't dodge, and the qi and blood shadow was directly drawn out and exploded. Wang Tianji's face paled slightly for a while, and then the qi and blood around him vibrated, forming a shadow of qi and blood again. The level of qi and blood in the 8th level warrior's body has obviously reached a rather terrifying level. The qi and blood shadow was shattered, but it was not enough to seriously injure Wang Tianji. He spat and said in a cold voice, "This beast is really difficult to deal with." "Okay, Lao Wang, stop complaining. Killing this ice demon armored dragon as soon as possible can solve a serious problem." The person who spoke was none other than the Bear King, Huang Hanshan. The reason why he has the title of Bear King is not because he can actually transform into a bear. Rather, he is extremely tall, nearly 2 meters tall, and is almost like a giant bear in human form. Furthermore, Huang Hanshan's fighting style is as violent as a giant bear. At this moment, the ice demon armored dragon was frantically spitting dragon breath at him. All the cold dragon breath turned into sharp ice edges, piercing towards Huang Hanshan's position. Huang Hanshan did not retreat. He directly stretched out a pair of giant palms and slapped all the ice edges away in an extremely rough way. Obviously, the huge ice edge that hit Lin Yuan earlier was one of the pieces that Huang Hanshan pushed away. It is no exaggeration to say that Huang Hanshan alone resisted nearly 90% of the attacks of the ice demon armored dragon. However, Wang Tianji takes this as a matter of course. Who makes this guy rough-skinned and thick flesh? To be honest, among the three of them, Li Fengyu is the most offensive due to his superpower. Wang Tianji is slightly weaker, but his offensive is also very sharp. But even Huang Hanshan, this stupid bear, has an extremely simple attack method, and he has no experience in dealing with such giant beasts. Fortunately, this guy's defense was watertight and as calm as a giant bear. So, just send him up to get beaten. It's impossible to be beaten to death anyway. On the other side, Li Fengyu is not idle either. She condensed dozens of burning blades of energy and blood, and began to frantically cut the body of the ice demon armored dragon. I have to say that the ice demon armored dragon is truly worthy of the word, magic armor. The scales on its dragon body are extremely hard. Even if Li Fengyu uses the blood burning ability, it will take at least 2 or 3 hits to cut off the opponent's dragon scales. However, although the defense of the ice demon armored dragon is strong enough, Li Fengyu's attack speed is extremely fast. In the blink of an eye, there were dozens of blood holes on the body of the ice demon armored dragon. No matter how small the incision is, once it accumulates too much, it will still be a serious injury. Just like if there are too many ants, they can kill an elephant. Under the siege of 3 8th level warriors, no matter how ferocious and violent the ice demon armored dragon was, it still showed some signs of decline. However, what surprised them a little was that they were already at such an obvious disadvantage, and the ice demon armored dragon didn't even have the slightest intention of escaping. You know, 8th level beasts almost have the same intelligence as humans. Logically speaking, under this situation, the ice demon armored dragon should have already thought about breaking out and escaping. However, until now, the ice demon armored dragon is still fighting them to the death without any intention of retreating. Wang Tianji frowned. He always felt that something was not quite right about this. Could it be said that this ice demon armored dragon is really confident that it can defeat the 3 of them together? But if this ice demon armored dragon was really capable of killing the 3 of them, he would have done it long ago and would not have waited until now. Could it be that? Is there something hidden in this ice dragon's lair that it must protect? This is why it is unwilling to escape easily even under such adversity. When he thought of this, Wang Tianji's eyes suddenly flickered slightly. Get rid of it as soon as possible. There is probably something hidden in this ice dragon's lair. After Wang Tianji made his judgment, he directly spoke in a low voice and gave a reminder. Huang Hanshan and Li Fengyu also frowned slightly. I have to say that what Wang Tianji said is not unreasonable. After all, the ice demon armored dragon has not escaped yet, which is enough to explain some problems. Try your best, don't give this guy a chance to breathe. Huang Hanshan let out a low roar, and the power of earth yellow energy and blood, as powerful as a giant rock, covered his body, and the sound shook the heaven and the earth. Li Fengyu pursed his lips. This time, she directly chose to burn the power of qi and blood in her body. Her face gradually became slightly distorted, and she was obviously suffering from great pain. This is the special feature of Li Fenyu's blood-burning ability. Not only can she burn the energy and blood outside her body, causing it to explode with more power, she can also choose to forcibly burn the energy and blood inside her body. Although this requires Li Fenyu to endure tremendous pain, it also allows her to burst out with extremely powerful fighting power in a short period of time. The red flame blade, condense. Li Fenyu opened his right hand directly, and the burning power of qi and blood suddenly condensed into a huge and sharp flaming blade. The next second, the red flame blade she had condensed suddenly slashed away in the direction of the ice demon armored dragon. Tisk! There was only a soft sound as the blade penetrated the flesh. The sharp red flame blade cut off a section of the ice demon armored dragon's tail. Under such severe pain, the ice demon armored dragon burst out with a shrill wail. At the same time, the surrounding environment has been affected by it. The blizzard that filled the sky swept towards everyone in an instant. This is the prototype of the realm. Even just a roar is enough to speak the law and change the surrounding environment. However, Wang Tianji was even more frightened. It's still Li Fenyu's sword. He asked himself. The sword that cut off half of the dragon's tail, even if it were him, he would never be able to take it. This is the true strength of the Scarlet Flame Witch, Li Fenyu. This is really cruel. Wang Tianji sighed sincerely. Fortunately, his voice was soft enough and was directly covered up by the blizzard in the sky, and did not reach Li Fenyu's ears. Lin Yuan maintained his sleeping state while rushing towards the lair of the ice demon armored dragon. However, he was surprised to discover something. That is, the closer you are to the lair of the ice demon armored dragon, the fewer the number of high-level alien beasts there are. However, I think so. High-level exotic beasts all have their own territorial concepts. Unless there is a strange beast that is impatient and wants to turn into an ice sculpture, then it has the courage to set foot in the territory of the ice demon Ankylosaurus. It seems that the most dangerous place may not necessarily be the safest place. Just when this idea emerged in Lin Yuan's heart, a biting snowstorm suddenly struck from above, as if it was about to condense the entire world into frost. This movement, isn't it too loud? Lin Yuan shrank, enduring the biting cold, and raised his head with difficulty, only to find that the snow and wind had already enveloped the ice demon armored dragon in midair. At the same time, the 3 8th level warriors were also covered. Just the aftermath of the battle can have such a great influence. Fortunately, this battle did not break out above the magic city. Otherwise, at least half of that bustling city that never sleeps will be destroyed by this war. At this time, Lin Yuan was less than a kilometer away from the open-air sports arena where the ice demon armored dragon's lair was. However, in this case, he still did not receive the reminder that the task was completed. Come on, it seems that the system is determined to let me in and have a chance. However, Lin Yuan's mind soon began to get excited. You must know that the system will never give him that kind of meaningless choice. In other words, the system must have a purpose for letting him risk his life this time to come to the lair of the ice demon armored dragon. Thinking of this, Lin Yuan was not as afraid as before. Anyway, the ice demon armored dragon has been entangled by the 3 8th level warriors above. There shouldn't be any other dangers in its lair, right? Soon, Lin Yuan arrived at the entrance of the ice demon armored dragon's lair. He first released the invisible state, adjusted his breathing, and then held his breath again. In the invisible state, he walked into the sports arena in front of him. Lin Yuan's character is like this, he is cautious enough. Facts have proved that what he did was right. As soon as Lin Yuan entered the arena, he felt a cold air blowing against his face, as if his bones were frozen in place. The next second, Lin Yuan felt as if his scalp was going to explode. Because in front of him were 3 frost monitor lizards that were as big as a car and exuded cold air. Under Lin Yuan's induction, these 3 frost giant lizards, at least, belong to the category of 6th order alien beasts. Suppose Lin Yuan were to fight head-on with these 3 frost giant lizards. Then there is only one fate for him, and that is to be brutally eaten. Furthermore, there were more than just 3 frost giant lizards in the hall in front of Lin Yuan. Lin Yuan just took a cursory glance and saw at least 40 or 50 of them, all scattered in every corner of the hall. There were even the flesh and blood of other strange beasts and the remains of eaten bones all around. After all, exotic animals also need to eat. Their food source is alien beasts of a lower level than them. If Lin Yuan's guess is correct, these frost monitor lizards should be the servants and food here deliberately kept in captivity by the ice demon armored dragon. Normally, these 6th level frost monitors are responsible for guarding the gate. When it feels hungry, the ice demon armored dragon will devour part of it. That's right, after the alien beast reaches the 8th level, its spiritual intelligence will also undergo earth-shaking changes. Proactively raising food in captivity is nothing. However, for Lin Yuan, even if it is just a watchdog in the lair of the ice demon Ankylosaurus, the food it raises can easily kill him. Surrounded by the 3 frost monitors in front of him, Lin Yuan did not dare to take a breath, and even felt that his heartbeat was about to stop. Because, once he takes a breath, the state of hiding will also be lifted. For Lin Yuan now, the best news is that although the 3 frost giant lizards in front of him seem to have sensed something, they have not discovered the specific location of Lin Yuan. Lin Yuan reacted quickly. It was probably when he was released from the hiding state at the door that the 3 frost giant lizards smelled the smell of human blood. After all, the perception of 6th level alien beasts is already sharp to a certain extent. However, before the 3 frost giant lizards had time to go out to investigate, Lin Yuan adjusted his breathing and entered the state of quietness again. As a result, these 3 frost monitor lizards also appeared to be in a confused state. Could it be that they had a wrong induction before? Although the 6th level alien beasts already possess a certain amount of intelligence. But this little intelligence is obviously not enough for them to figure this problem out. It is precisely because of this that they stopped at the door in great confusion. The moment they stopped, Lin Yuan was almost frightened so much that he almost thought he was exposed. After staying for a while, the 3 frost monitors chose to leave. Lin Yuan breathed a sigh of relief in his heart. He really didn't dare to make any changes until he was sure that the other party couldn't find him. Because if he makes one wrong step, he will be completely punished here. Although the black crystals in the mysterious pendant can scare these strange beasts in front of him, Lin Yuan will never use it unless it is absolutely necessary. At first, Lin Yuan still didn't know whether the black crystal could be effective on all strange beasts. What if there were just a few stupid ones? Lin Yuan doesn't dare to bet. Secondly, he was afraid that the aura escaping from the black crystal would alarm the ice demon armored dragon above after frightening the strange beast in front of him. Although at this moment, the ice demon armored dragon was entangled by 3 8th level instructors from Mowu. But if it notices Lin Yuan and really wants to kill him, it only needs a breath of dragon breath to make him completely disappear from this world easily. Lin Yuan held the mysterious pendant tightly in his hand and walked cautiously towards the exit. Fortunately, as long as he is in the state of hiding, these stupid lizards can't find his trace at all. Lin Yuan walked through the hall easily and actually arrived at the inner court of the sports arena. Here, it is covered in ice for thousands of miles, just like the polar regions, and everything you see is icy blue. The only thing that makes Lin Yuan feel relieved is that there are finally no more terrible frost monitors here. Just like a watchdog who cannot enter his master's house. All the frost monitors also use this as their boundary and dare not go beyond it. Lin Yuan was even suspicious that even if he was released from the hiding state now, these frost giant lizards would not dare to step into it. However, at this moment, the mysterious pendant in Lin Yuan's hand trembled slightly. To be more precise, the black crystal in the pendant is trembling. It's like being pulled by something. Lin Yuan frowned slightly. This was the first time this happened to him since he obtained the pendant. He held the pendant in his hand tightly and began to sense it carefully. Soon, Lin Yuan discovered that the direction of the pulling seemed to come from underground. Is there anything hidden underground in this sports arena? Lin Yuan quickly walked to the center of the sports arena, lowered his head and looked down. It's a pity that he didn't even see the lawn of the green field. Because the ice is so thick, there is no way to see clearly what is underneath unless the ice is cut open. At the same time, the mysterious pendant in Lin Yuan's hand trembled more violently. But for Lin Yuan, who does not have any tools now, trying to dig through such a thick layer of ice with bare hands is simply a dream. Fortunately, Lin Yuan looked around and soon discovered a passage leading underground. Sports arenas of this size usually come with a huge parking lot. The location of the parking lot is usually located underground. In other words, there is no need to dig through the ice in the center of the arena. He can just follow the passage and enter directly under the sports arena. Thinking like this, Lin Yuan walked directly into the passage. There is an elevator that can lead to the underground, but it is a pity that it has been abandoned for too long and can no longer be used normally. Fortunately, Lin Yuan didn't plan to use it normally. His energy and blood gathered directly on his right arm, and he punched forward, forcefully blasting through the elevator door. Then, Lin Yuan climbed directly along the dark elevator passage. It has to be said that in the lair of the ice demon Ankylosaurus, even the walls of the elevator passage are covered with a thin layer of frost. Finally reached, Lin Yuan followed the elevator passage and arrived at the underground parking lot of the sports arena. There is not even half a parking lot here, it has completely turned into an extremely cold ice cave. Lin Yuan had never quite understood what the concept of 3 feet of ice was. Now, looking at the scene in front of him, this word appeared in his mind. However, it is obvious that I have come to the right place. Because the trembling feeling of the mysterious pendant in his hand became more and more intense. He directly used it as a guide, testing it step by step, trying to see what was attracting the pendant in his hand. Although the area of the underground parking lot is particularly huge, it is even more like a maze under the ice. But Lin Yuan, guided by the pendant, quickly found the right direction. He walked for about 5 or 6 minutes. What appeared in front of Lin Yuan was a tall ice platform. Without any hesitation, he directly drew out the alloy sword from his back, thrust it in step by step, and climbed up the ice platform with difficulty. The top of the ice platform is an area of about 30 square meters. After climbing up, Lin Yuan finally saw clearly that there was a dragon egg over 1 meter high placed in the center of the top of the ice platform. The eggshell is ice blue, with some faint lines on it. This is a dragon egg. The egg of the ice demon armored dragon. Lin Yuan couldn't help but hold his breath, and his eyes flashed with light. It turns out that the mysterious pendant in his hand was attracted by the dragon egg in front of him. Lin Yuan walked forward slowly and reached out to touch the oval ice blue dragon egg in front of him. A feeling of frost rushed directly into Lin Yuan's palm. In addition, he can also clearly feel the majestic and surging vitality inside the dragon egg. However, just when Lin Yuan was about to put this dragon egg into the system space, the accident happened in an instant. Snapped. Accompanied by a soft sound. The mysterious pendant in Lin Yuan's hand opened by himself inexplicably. Then, the black crystal, as if it had spirituality, turned into a black water droplet and flew directly towards the dragon egg in front of you. The mutation happened too fast. So much so that Lin Yuan didn't react at all. By the time he came to his senses from his dazed state, water droplets formed from black crystals had already attached themselves to the dragon egg in front of him. The next second, the black water droplets instantly split into hundreds and thousands of threads, covering all sides of the dragon egg. It's like the dragon egg seal has been carved with countless dark lines. The next second, these black and ink threads seemed to be directly integrated into the dragon egg. This process is extremely natural, just like drizzle falling into the lake without causing any ripples. Lin Yuan was in a daze the whole time, watching everything happening in front of him. After the black crystal turned into water droplets, the pendant in his hand also fell into pieces, as if it had completed its mission. In other words, I picked up a dragon egg, but let the black crystal in the mysterious pendant be integrated into it. Lin Yuan stared blankly at the ice blue dragon egg in front of him. He could sense that the dragon egg still contained surging vitality. Everything seems like nothing happened. If it weren't for the pendant in his hand actually breaking into pieces. Lin Yuan might even have thought that what he had just experienced was a hallucination. However, since things have already happened, whether it is good or bad, you can only choose to accept it. Lin Yuan sighed slightly, stepped forward, and directly put the dragon egg in front of him into the system space. Although the black crystal in the mysterious pendant is gone. But it's a blessing in disguise. At least I got a genuine dragon egg. Subsequently, just when Lin Yuan was about to leave, he suddenly discovered that the icicle under his feet actually contained a blue cold light. The cold light flickered slightly, rising and falling, just like a human heart beating. Moreover, along with the cold light flashing in the icicle, there was also a faint ice light starting to dance under the surrounding ice. This is something Lin Yuan has never discovered before. What's this? Lin Yuan frowned slightly and couldn't help but talk to himself. What he didn't expect was that this time, the system gave an explanation. This is the Sky Frost Cold Vein, a special type of earth vein that can allow ice-type beasts to grow faster. Tianshuang Hanmai. Lin Yuan was slightly startled. He now somewhat understands why the ice demon armored dragon set its lair so close to the demonic city. Does it not know there is danger here? No, 8th level alien beasts, if they didn't even have this bit of intelligence, the alien beasts would have been extinct long ago. The reason why the ice demon armored dragon settled here is precisely because it wanted to rely on the Sky Frost Cold Vein to help it break through the shackles as quickly as possible and reach the level of the 9th order alien beast. Thinking of this, Lin Yuan suddenly had a thought in his mind and asked, then this Tian Shuang Han Vein, can it be moved? System, I even told you it was a ley line. Are you still thinking about moving? You were really thinking about shit. Seeing that the system did not respond, Lin Yuan also wanted to understand. Even the ice demon armored dragon couldn't move this thing away, let alone him. Since it is something that does not belong to you, then you will not force it. He was quite content to get a dragon egg. At this moment, the ice cave where Lin Yuan was standing suddenly began to shake violently, like an earthquake. Lin Yuan's expression changed. This is definitely what happened. No, I have to leave here quickly. Lin Yuan did not hesitate and ran directly towards the elevator entrance nearest to him. At this moment, the ice demon armored dragon in midair had already been covered in bruises by the three men. Logically speaking, it won't be long before they can completely kill this giant dragon. However, at this moment, the ice demon armored dragon in front of him began to become extremely manic. It raised its head and let out an extremely angry roar. The dragon's tail whipped wildly in all directions, making a series of sonic boom sounds. The blizzard that filled the sky became more violent, as if it was going to crush everything in the world. Wang Tianji's face turned livid. Is this little dragon crazy? Under this situation, even Huang Hanshan could no longer support himself under the violent attack. He moved backwards directly, keeping distance from the ice demon armored dragon. Li Fengyu also looked gloomy and said softly, this is probably the last counterattack before death. Everyone, please be careful and don't get hurt by this beast. The other two people nodded. Seeing that the ice demon armored dragon was almost unable to parry, they must not let their guard down at this time, resulting in failure in their success. Actually, what Wang Tianji and the other three didn't know was this. The reason why the ice demon armored dragon became so violent was not because it was covered in wounds and was on the verge of death, but because it can sense it clearly. My own dragon egg was stolen. There is always a blood connection between a giant dragon and the eggs it lays. At the very least, the ice demon armored dragon can roughly sense the location of its own dragon egg. However, after Lin Yuan put the dragon egg into his own system space, the connection between the ice demon armored dragon and the dragon egg was also severed. Because the system space is a completely independent space, so the ice demon armored dragon can no longer sense the location of its own dragon egg. After this, the ice demon armored dragon inevitably fell into a state of rage. You must know that dragon eggs are of extraordinary significance to a giant dragon. It's not just its children. It is its inheritance and the carrier of its bloodline. It will definitely kill all the people in front of it and find its own dragon eggs. Wang Tianji's expression changed again, and he said in a rather frightened tone, stop it, this guy. This guy is preparing to forcefully attack the 9th level. After Wang Tianji said these words, the remaining two people were slightly startled, and their expressions suddenly became solemn. Forcibly attack the 9th level. Is this ice demon armored dragon really ready to fight to the death? In this case, there are only two possibilities. Either, it successfully broke through the 9th level and became a real 9th level beast. Or, it fails to break through the level, and at the end of its life, it forcibly burns all its vitality and unleashes the strongest blow. Chapter 91. Don't wait any longer, stop it. Wang Tianji roared angrily. his energy and blood trembled, and he took the lead in rushing towards the ice demon armored dragon in front of him. Huang Hanshan and Li Fengyu also reacted quickly, each using their moves to forcefully kill the ice demon armored dragon in front of them. This will happen if the ice demon armored dragon breaks through to the 9th level. Then none of them here can be this guy's opponent. Even if the ice demon armored dragon fails to break through, it can still burn its own life to give them the final fatal blow. No matter what the situation is, they cannot accept it. So, we must prevent the ice demon armored dragon from breaking through. The snowstorm is becoming more and more violent. The ice demon armored dragon refused to retreat or evade, and directly withstood the attack of the 3 people without moving at all. It is trying to break through by force. What frightened the 3 of them was the frost below. To be precise, the ice in the entire city began to slowly float towards the direction of the ice demon armored dragon. 1,000 burning blood blades. Li Fengyu's eyes were stern, and thousands of burning blades of energy and blood were condensed out of thin air behind him. Subsequently, these 1,000 blades suddenly shot towards the direction of the ice demon armored dragon. Its speed has even exceeded the speed of sound. Roar! The ice demon armored dragon roared. The frost floating towards it suddenly condensed into a huge and thick ice wall, blocking all the blades for it. Just follow your words. Li Fengyu frowned deeply. The other party can do this, which means that the prototype of the domain has been formed around the ice demon armored dragon. Endless frost directly covered every dragon scale of this ice demon armored dragon. It's like putting a layer of frost armor on it. Under such circumstances, Wang Tianji and his group's offensive has been difficult to break through the ice demon armored dragon's defense. The 3 of them looked at each other, with a hint of despair in their eyes. They seemed to be unable to stop the ice demon armored dragon from successfully breaking through. The field has begun to take shape. Although this ice demon armored dragon only broke through the realm forcefully, its foundation is not very stable. However, it is more than enough to deal with the 3 8th level warriors. Get ready to escape. This mission failed. Wang Tianji glanced at the 2 of them, with a wry smile on his lips. The 9th level ice demon armored dragon is no longer something they can deal with. Huang Hanshan took a long breath and asked softly, "Can I still escape?" These words seemed to be asking others, but more like asking yourself. Li Fengyu said calmly, "I guess 1 or 2 can escape, it depends on our luck." Wang Tianji seemed to have finally figured it out. He grinned and said very casually, "If it doesn't work, I will take care of it for you. You can escape, and I will be the queen. Is life and death a big deal? It's just 1 death. I, Wang Tianji, died today at the claws of a 9th level alien beast. Died to protect your companions, do not be cowardly or shameful." Li Fengyu glanced at him and said calmly, "Why are you pretending to be a righteous hero? Do you think I will accept your favor? If you want to escape, then escape together. Life and death each have their own destiny." Huang Hanshan chuckled. "Then it depends on who this dragon cub will spray first. By the way, remember to escape in a direction away from the demon city. At least you can keep this dragon cub away a little, so as not to harm the civilians of the demon city." "Of course I know," Wang Tianji said with a smile. "By the way, if you manage to escape, remember to notify the military department and ask them to come over and clean up this mess. By the way, we also collect the corpses of the dead." These 3 8th level warriors made arrangements for life and death while chatting and laughing. Have they ever thought that such a situation might happen before they carried out the mission? Honestly, not really. In the eyes of everyone, when 3 8th level venerables surround and kill an 8th level strange beast, there is absolutely no chance of any accidents happening. But then, an accident happened. This ice demonic armored dragon broke through to the 9th level in anger at the most critical moment. But even the shadow of death came so quickly and unexpectedly. Wang Tianji and the 3 of them were still chatting and laughing without any fear. This is the style of a magic warrior. Only when your face does not change and you draw your sword to live and die, you are brave. The ice demon armored dragon's eyes are extremely cold. Not only does it have a coldness, but it also has murderous intent. It wants all 3 human warriors in front of it to die in its own hands. However, it still wants to find its own dragon egg, and cut the little thief who stole its dragon egg into pieces. The next second, the ice demon armored dragon opened its mouth. Endless frost gathered in the dragon's mouth, forming a huge ice ball like a star. The ice ball is constantly expanding and being compressed. Energy is also continuously accumulated during this process. Roar! The huge ice ball, like a star, blasted directly in the direction of Wang Tianji. Bingchen falling star. Tisk, tisk, do you choose to kill me? Wang Tianji grinned wildly and opened his arms. Then come on. By the way, let me tell you a truth about this dragon cub. That is, no warrior will choose to sit still and wait for death when death comes. Then let me come and see your strength after breaking through. Wang Tianji laughed wildly and opened his arms directly towards the huge frost formation in front of him. Endless power of qi and blood surged out from behind him. At the time of life and death crisis, Wang Tianji did not dare to hold back anymore. The shadow of qi and blood behind him is as tall as a giant. The frost stars were blasting towards Wang Tianji at extremely fast speeds. At the same time, Wang Tianji also felt the majestic energy contained in this frost star. Wang Tianji knew it well. If hit head-on, he would definitely die. He raised the corners of his mouth slightly and thought to himself, hoping that his death would delay those two idiots for a while longer. But at this moment, a voice slowly sounded in his ears. A lazy and slightly casual voice. Old Wang, I sent you to perform a mission, not to die. Don't lose your fighting spirit so quickly. At the same time, a figure flashed directly in front of Wang Tianji. In the hand of the figure, he was still holding the handle of a knife. It's just that the blade is hidden in the scabbard and has not been pulled out. Wang Tianji's eyes suddenly widened and he looked at the person in front of him in disbelief. Principal Mowu, God-cutting sword, Wang Zonlin. Wang Zonlin is here. He lazily stood in front of Wang Tianji. His eyes were as calm as water, but there was a majestic wind and thunder hidden in the water. A little dragon that has just broken through to the 9th level dares to be so arrogant in front of me. Wang Zonlin's lips curled up into a teasing sneer. The next second, he held the handle of the knife tightly. However, he still did not choose to take the knife out of its sheath. He is a knife keeper. This ice demonic armored dragon in front of him is obviously not worthy of his sword. The sword glow appears. Wang Zonlin slashed out with a sword in the air. Although the blade is hidden in the scabbard, the light of Wang Zonlin's slashing sword is still as sharp as thunder from the 9 heavens. Tisk! The huge ice ball in front of me, like a star, was cut into 2 pieces in the air and fell directly below. The next second, Wang Zonlin narrowed his eyes. His figure flashed out in an instant and teleported in front of the ice demon armored dragon. It's time to hit the road, my friend. Just when Wang Zonlin finished speaking, another arc-like blade slashed out. The head of the ice demon armored dragon was cut off by force. Ice blue dragon blood spurted out crazily from the fracture in the neck of the ice demon armored dragon. For a moment, it seemed as if there was a rain of ice blue blood all over the sky. Until death, the eyes of the ice demon armored dragon were wide open. Even to the day of its death, it could not believe that the human warrior in front of it could cut off its own head so easily. You know, it has already broken through to the realm of 9th level alien beasts. But what the ice demon armored dragon doesn't know is, this is the true strength of the Zanshin sword. The sword can be used to kill ghosts and gods. Even if the sword is hidden in the scabbard, just relying on the sword light from the scabbard is enough to easily kill this strange beast that has just broken through to the 9th level. Why are you here? Wang Tianji looked at Wang Zonlin with a look of astonishment on his face. School, principal. You are here. After Li Fenyu saw Wang Zonlin, it seemed that he could not even speak. His face was flushed and his shyness was clearly visible. It seems, the rumors may not be false. Huang Hanshan couldn't help but hold his forehead. This girl, even when she faced the ice demon armored dragon that had broken through to the 9th level, she always treated her like an old woman. Now that I saw Wang Zonlin, I felt shy. However, this is understandable. After all, what beauty doesn't admire heroes? It is reasonable for a peerless genius like Wang Zonlin to attract Li Fengyu's admiration. Looking at the surprised 3 people, Wang Zonlin smiled and explained, the Ministry of Military Affairs discussed it with me before. They believe that this ice demon armored dragon would rather risk war with us humans than set up its base in the Magic City. It's really abnormal around here. So, Before carrying out the mission, they arranged for me to be your second level of protection. Unexpectedly, the accident really happened. This big guy actually broke through to the 9th level before the battle, which is really beyond my expectation. The reason why the Ministry of Military Affairs did not choose to let Wang Zonlin take action directly was because of concerns. A delicate balance is maintained between humans and alien beasts. Under this balance, there are many hidden rules. One of the rules is that the king of the human race is not allowed to massacre alien beasts. Similarly, 9th level alien beasts will not easily set foot in human territory. So, if Wang Zonlin steps forward and directly kills the Ice Demon Armored Dragon, it will break this hidden rule to a certain extent. But if the Ice Demon Armored Dragon successfully breaks through to the 9th level, Wang Zonlin will have no worries if he takes action again. After all, if you are fighting against the same rank, you will be responsible for your own life and death. Wang Tianji nodded. I understand. Huang Hanshan smiled and said, fortunately, the old guys from the Ministry of Military Affairs are cautious enough, otherwise, the lives of a few of us would have been at stake here. Li Fengyu blushed, lowered his head, played with his fingers, and said in a voice as soft as a mosquito, thank you, Principal, for saving my life. Wang Tianji and Huang Hanshan looked at each other and saw a trace of unnaturalness in each other's eyes. Sister, you are known as the Red Flame Witch. Is it really okay for a witch to act like a little daughter? Wang Zonlin didn't care about this, and said calmly, you're welcome, you are all my mentors in Mowu. It is my responsibility as the principal to protect your lives. Okay, now that the battle is over, let's go to the lair of this Ice Demon Armored Dragon. It was able to break through to the 9th level in such a short period of time, indicating that there is likely to be something special about this place. Wang Zonlin's thinking is extremely quick. Soon, relying on the clues that were connected together, I guess the reason why the Ice Demon Armored Dragon has been staying here. Subsequently, he swayed and took the lead in landing towards the lair of the Ice Demon Armored Dragon. The Ice Demon Armored Dragon is finally dead. However, Lin Yuan was almost frightened to death. After he had just left the underground parking lot. In the sky, two huge ice peaks suddenly fell down. Obviously, this is the frost star that was split into two pieces by Wang Zonlin. After the two ice peaks fell from high altitude, the entire sports arena was completely dented. Lin Yuan was thinking about it. If you were still in the underground parking lot, you would have been crushed into a pulp, right? A while passed. The sky was filled with dragon blood, falling like raindrops. The body of the Ice Demon Armored Dragon followed closely behind and fell from midair. Its severed head happened to fall in front of Lin Yuan. A pair of eyes that were fixed on Lin Yuan, who was standing in front of the head. Lin Yuan thought this guy was not dead, so he was so frightened that he went into hiding. However, after discovering that the Ice Demon Armored Dragon had lost its vitality, Lin Yuan became greedy again. If you take this dragon head back, you should be able to sell it for a lot of money, right? However, this idea was quickly dismissed by Lin Yuan himself. Let's not worry about whether there will be enough money on the black market to eat the dragon's head after he brings it back. Even if you can eat it, will those people dare to accept it? This is the head of an 8th level dragon. Furthermore, his system space seems to be a bit not big enough. The 500 cubic meters of space seems to be unable to accommodate the ice dragon head that is bigger than a building. The most important is, those 3 8th level sages surrounded and killed the Ice Demon Armored Dragon. They must have counted the loot afterwards, right? At the end of the count, I found that a dragon head was missing. That would be really troublesome. Lin Yuan finally suppressed the greed in his heart and chose to leave. Having stayed here for too long, Shen Xiao and the others probably thought that something unexpected had happened to them, right? Thinking like this, Lin Yuan directly turned on the hidden state and prepared to leave this frost city. As soon as he stepped forward, Wang Zonlin led everyone down from the air, ready to collect the spoils of war. Although the 9th level king's perception is extremely strong, he is still unable to detect Lin Yuan's existence without deliberate perception. So, they didn't notice Lin Yuan sneaking away at all. Subsequently, they quickly found the underground parking lot under the sports arena. This level of damage cannot have any impact on the Tian Shuang Han vein. Wang Zonlin quickly sensed the existence of this earth vein. With his vision, he could easily identify the Tianshuang Hanmai at a glance. Wang Zonlin raised his brows slightly and said with a hint of surprise, I didn't expect that there is a Tianshuang Earth Vein here. No wonder that Dragon Cub was able to break through to the 9th level so quickly. This is really a good thing, but it's a pity that I can't move it away. If I could move it into Mowu. Huang Henshin also sighed. Being able to make the Ice Demon Armored Dragon break through from the 8th level to the 9th level in such a short period of time is enough to illustrate the extraordinary nature of this Heavenly Frost Cold Vein. However, Wang Zonlin shook his head and said, there is no need to do that. Although the Tian Shuang Cold Vein is good, it is not suitable for all warriors. So, we just need to seal this place, clean out all the strange beasts, and then bring in ice attribute warriors and superpowers so that they can practice here. Wang Tianji nodded and agreed. This is indeed the case, but the Ministry of Military Affairs will not allow us to enjoy such a precious landline exclusively, right? Martial Arts Department. Wang Zonlin chuckled and said, why should they get a share of the pie if they don't make any contributions? Didn't the three of you risk your lives to surround and kill this Ice Demon Armored Dragon? What's wrong with their military department? Want to bring people into practice? That's fine too. Give me money, not a penny less. Wang Zonlin's words were resounding, and there was no hint of concession in his tone. The Ministry of Military Affairs basically did nothing except sending people to clean up the strange beasts around the Frost City. Just like that, you still want to divide the spoils in their hands. There are no doors. Although the military department is the most powerful force in China, it still has to be reasonable, right? If these people are unreasonable, then Wang Zonlin doesn't mind using the knife in his hand to talk to them. The mysterious pendant has broken apart. Lin Yuan became increasingly cautious when leaving the City of Frost. Fortunately, after the alien beast riot, there are not too many high-level alien beasts in this ice city. Lin Yuan left here without any danger and returned to his camp. Lin Yuan, he had just arrived at the gate of the camp. In front of a marching tent, a figure stood up and walked towards him with a long stride. I knew you were still alive. The person who came was none other than Shen Xiao. He came to Lin Yuan, opened his arms and gave the latter a big hug. Lin Yuan could feel his worry about himself from his words. Then I must come back alive, Lin Yuan said with a smile. At this moment, Wang Tu also walked up to him, gave him a bear hug, and said with a grin, I knew your kid wouldn't die that easily. Then, Wang Tu asked again, by the way, where is the person who is chasing you? Lin Yuan said calmly, he's dead. Killed by you. Wang Tu's face flashed with a strange look. Lin Yuan shook his head and said, I died at the hands of a 7th level strange beast. I was lucky enough to escape. Understood. Wang Tu nodded, although he understood the general story of what happened. But he also knew that escaping from the hands of a 7th level beast was definitely not an easy task. Lin Yuan seems to be describing it so lightly, but in fact he must have experienced a crisis between life and death. However, he didn't want to say more, so Wang Tu didn't ask any more questions. After a moment of silence, Wang Tu asked again, by the way, do you know who attacked you? Lin Yuan nodded and said, it's roughly clear, but I can handle this matter myself, so I won't bother Senior Wang Tu. Of course he understood that Wang Tu really regarded him as a friend and wanted to help him. However, Lin Yuan did not want Wang Tu to get involved in this matter. Hunter organizations like this have always belonged to underground forces. Wang Tu is from the Ministry of Military Affairs. If he intervenes, he may easily bring the matter to a bad end. Therefore, Lin Yuan rejected Wang Tu's kindness and determined to resolve the matter alone. In that case, be careful yourself. Seeing Lin Yuan's determination, Wang Tu didn't show any pretense. He patted Lin Yuan on the shoulder and said something. The scourge of the Ice Demon Armored Dragon has finally been solved. They also returned with the large army. The credits awarded for completing tasks were quickly credited to their accounts. Shen Xiao and Gao Chengshan were responsible for processing the exotic beast materials. After the processing is completed, the money received will be distributed to everyone in turn according to the originally determined division. This time, Lin Yuan got a full 2.4 million. However, Lin Yuan was not in a hurry to deal with the exotic beast materials in the system space. After all, After receiving more than 2 million, I am no longer short of money. In his system space, in addition to these exotic beast materials, there is also a dragon egg. Lin Yuan asked about the system before. Placing the dragon egg in the system space will not have any impact and can still grow normally. And, according to the system, this dragon egg has absorbed enough frost energy from the sky frost veins. In a short time, this dragon egg will be hatched successfully. Although exotic beasts are naturally cruel, if they are tamed properly, they can still be tamed into their own battle pets. Many warriors who know how to tame beasts will be accompanied by several battle pets of the same level, and there are even cases where the battle pets are stronger than their breeders. The only thing that worries Lin Yuan now is, what kind of impact will the black crystal integrated into the dragon egg have on the dragon egg? The system did not give a clear answer on this point. After returning, Lin Yuan threw himself into the practice room again. His qi and blood increased too quickly. In just a few days, his qi and blood had successfully exceeded 45,000. He needs to become familiar with his current energy and blood as soon as possible before he can exert his full strength. 3 days later, 2 familiar figures came to the door of the training room. Lin Yuan opened the door and found that it was none other than Shen Xiao and Wang Zonlin. To be honest, Lin Yuan could still imagine that Shen Xiao would come. But what is Wang Zonlin doing here? Shen Xiao said, when you were performing your mission, a killer came to assassinate you. Wang Zonlin's face was serious, with a rare look of solemnity flashing between his brows. Lin Yuan nodded. It should be considered assassination. An assassination of that level is not much different from a blatant killing. However, Lin Yuan can understand it. After all, for the killer organization, it is indeed quite a shame to fail to complete the assassination mission. It is reasonable to send so many killers to kill him at all costs. However, understanding is understanding. Lin Yuan will definitely avenge this. It is not too late for a gentleman to take revenge in 10 years. I, Lin Yuan, seek revenge from morning till night. However, what Lin Yuan didn't expect was that Wang Zonlin said, I have found the killer organization that assassinated you. Lin Yuan was slightly stunned. Wang Zonlin actually found the killer organization for himself to assassinate him. How could he do such a thing for himself? It's so unexpected. However, what was even more unexpected for Lin Yuan was yet to come. Wang Zonlin said calmly, that is a killer organization called Hidden Thorn. In addition to regular Qi blood warriors and mental power practitioners, they have many superpowers with invisibility. Lin Yuan was stunned for a while. This is the principle of the family, the bottom of the family knows everything. Are you ready? Wang Zonlin glanced at Lin Yuan and asked calmly. Lin Yuan's heart trembled slightly and he asked, are you ready for anything? Wang Zonlin grinned slightly and said calmly, are you ready to follow me? I'll take you to kill someone today. I really didn't expect that these bugs in the gutter would dare to touch even my students of Mowu, and they did so in such a blatant manner. Although Wang Zonlin's tone was particularly calm. But in the calm words, there is endless murderous intent. Lin Yuan finally reacted. My principal, this time he is really murderous. Wang Zonlin, he is famous for protecting his shortcomings. Lin Yuan and Shen Xiao followed Wang Zonlin and walked all the way through the streets of Magic City. Their steps seemed so casual. No one can tell that they are going to kill someone. Wang Zonlin had checked out all the information long before he was ready to take action against the hidden assassin. How powerful is the intelligence network of Wudu University? It is easy to find the hiding place of an assassin organization. However, the killer organization obviously will not set up its base in a prosperous downtown. The two of them followed Wang Zonlin all the way to the outskirts of the Magic City. The more remote the place, the less visited it is. Finally, Wang Zonlin stretched out his hand, pointed to an abandoned warehouse in front of him, and said calmly, that's the lair of Hidden Thorn. Except for some killers who are out on missions, 80% of the hidden assassin members should be gathered there. Lin Yuan nodded. Then, Wang Zonlin took a big step towards the abandoned warehouse, and soon arrived at the gate of the warehouse. This warehouse has obviously been abandoned for many years, and is surrounded by withered and yellow grass. If Wang Zonlin hadn't already received accurate information, no one would have dared to believe that this was the home of a killer organization. Lin Yuan smiled and asked, principal, what are you going to do? Otherwise, be polite first and then attack. Be able to talk to a 9th level king without any sense of distance. Lin Yuan is probably considered the first person. Facing Lin Yuan's inquiry, Wang Zonlin sneered, there's no need to be so polite, just go ahead and kill. Just as he finished speaking, Wang Zonlin kicked open the door of the abandoned warehouse in front of him. Boom! Wang Zonlin just kicked him casually. Then he kicked the iron door in front of him 5 or 6 meters away. For a moment, everyone in the warehouse stopped what they were doing and frowned at the uninvited guest in front of them. Wang Zonlin's face showed a playful smile. Don't worry, we don't have any ill intentions, I just want to kill you all. If you ask why, the reason is very simple. You have crossed the line and done something wrong. Therefore, from now on, there is no need for the Hidden Thorn organization to continue to exist. As soon as Wang Zonlin said these words, everyone in the warehouse narrowed their eyes dangerously. They obviously understood that someone was coming to cause trouble. Those who are qualified to join the killer organization are naturally not a good person. Soon, a bare-chested, muscular man with a fleshy face stood up, pointed at Wang Zonlin's nose, and cursed, I'll give you 5 seconds to chop off one of your fingers and then get out. Get out of here. 5. Seeing that Wang Zonlin didn't react at all, the muscular man started counting down. Unfortunately, just as he finished speaking, a sword suddenly appeared and passed by. The fingers of the fleshy man in front of him were cut off directly. The speed was so fast that Lin Yuan didn't even see clearly when Wang Zonlin drew his sword. No, that's not right. Wang Zonlin didn't bring a knife at all today. Lin Yuan then noticed. The principal held a slender willow leaf in his hand. He used the willow leaf in his hand to create a ray of sword light and forcibly cut off the muscular man's fingers. This is the strength of a king-level powerhouse. Flying flowers and picking leaves can kill people. The fleshy man looked at his severed finger that fell to the ground with a horrified face, as if he didn't even realize what happened. The next second, Wang Zonlin flicked his wrist. The willow leaf in his hand once again pierced the fleshy man between his eyebrows at a speed faster than the speed of sound. Tisk! Willow leaves passed through. The fleshy man's eyebrows only had a hole that penetrated from front to back. Wang Zonlin clapped his hands and said calmly, I forgot to tell you, I hate it when people point their fingers at me. Everyone in the abandoned warehouse stared blankly at the scene in front of them, their eyes filled with disbelief. You must know that although the muscular man in front of you is not top-notch in strength, he is still a solid 6th level warrior. And this uninvited guest is in front of me. With just an ordinary willow leaf, it easily penetrated the former's skull. When the handsome man was about to die, his eyes were full of disbelief. His eyes widened, and he fell straight backwards, finally falling to the ground. Kill him. Among the crowd, I don't know who shouted it first. Subsequently, 4 or 5 killers suddenly turned into afterimages and attacked Wang Zonlin. Not long-term memory. Wang Zonlin spit out 4 words lightly. He stretched out his right hand, turned his palm into a sword, and actually cut out a sword like a sword with his sword. At the level of Wang Zonlin, everything and everything can be turned into a knife in your hand. Dao Gang's speed is extremely fast. These killers in front of you are simply impossible to avoid. Only a few soft sounds were heard, and under the slashes of the sword, the bodies of these people were all broken into 2 pieces in the air. The ground was full of corpses and blood. Wang Zonlin stood among them with a calm face and his hands folded, as if he had just done a trivial thing. This is his principle. When he said he wanted to kill people, he would never be vague. Senior, no matter who you are, what happened today is too much. In the shadows, a figure walked out slowly. There seemed to be a bit of anger between his eyebrows. Lin Yuan looked up and found that the person walking out was a man with a fair face. On his 2 arms, 2 sharp bone blades extended. Obviously, this guy's superpower is related to his bones. And, if Lin Yuan guessed correctly, the fair-skinned man in front of me is also a 7th level martial arts master. At the very least, the aura on him was exactly the same as the aura Lin Yuan felt from Sima Fan and Zhou Qingyu before. Excessive. Wang Zonlin smiled. I don't think I did anything excessive. That would offend. The fair-skinned man suddenly rose up, and the bone blade on his right arm swept out directly in the direction of Wang's online. His energy and blood are of a faint white color with a cold quality. The power of the ghostly white energy and blood quickly condensed into a sword, sweeping in like a hurricane. Furthermore, the way he attacked was extremely ruthless. Dao Gang not only targeted Wang's online, but also targeted Lin Yuan and Shen Xiao beside him. Boy, let's go. Wang's online's response was particularly swift. Hand-holding a person's collar with one hand, he jumped into the air and cleverly avoided the sword in front of him. Pong! The White Sword Gang blasted a deep pit directly on the ground. With your strength, you should be considered the best among martial arts masters, right? It's a pity. Why do you have to fall into evil ways? Wang's online chuckled, and the momentum of the 9th level Heavenly King suddenly surged around. Under his aura, everyone in the abandoned warehouse was instantly overwhelmed by this aura. Even the Bone Blade superpower user in front of him turned pale and couldn't help but kneel down in front of Wang's online. In front of the 9th level Heavenly King, martial arts masters are simply like ants. At the feet of the giant dragon, all the ants will tremble and kneel down. Fortunately, a strong man who has reached Wang's online's level can already control his own aura as he wishes. Hence, he did not release his pressure on Lin Yuan and Shen Xiao. Otherwise, the situation of the two of them might not be any better than the people in the abandoned warehouse. Everyone looked pale and looked at Wang's online with horrified eyes. They finally figured it out. The person who came to kill this time was an existence that they could not match at all. Someone finally recognized Wang's online. Principle of Mowu, 9th level Heavenly King, God-slaying sword, Wang's online. However, they had no chance to say it. Because, under the pressure of the 9th level Heavenly King, they could not open their mouths at all and could not say a complete sentence at all. This is the despair that truly penetrates into the bone marrow. You clearly know that you are going to die. But there is no way at all, and even cannot resist at all. However, Lin Yuan has no sympathy for these people at all. It's not because Hidden Thorn has any grudge against him. In fact, the only ones who had hatred against him were the assassins who had assassinated him and Xu Shining. But he still thinks that these people deserve to die. Everyone is responsible for what they have done. Since these killers can kill people unscrupulously for money, then they should also be prepared to be killed. Okay, let's do it one by one. Wang's online stepped forward, opened his palm, and placed it on the head of the Bone Blade superpower user. There was a tremor in the blood. The latter's head exploded directly, turning into a headless corpse. There was no trace of blood on Wang's online's body. Moreover, from beginning to end, he never asked the name of the person in front of him. Looking at the famous martial arts masters outside, Wang's online didn't even bother to ask his name. Because there is no need. A lion kills an ant by casually crushing it. Does it still care about the ant's feelings? Not at all. Wang's online was walking and killing at the same time. Lin Yuan was extremely shocked. This is the first time in his life that he has seen such a scene. Even when he kills someone, he can do it so freely and freely. In the blink of an eye, everyone in the abandoned warehouse was killed by Wang's online alone. Blood gathered from all directions, forming a pool of blood. Everywhere you see are corpses. Among them, there are even some martial arts masters. After all, the Hidden Assassin, as a killer organization with a lot of influence, always needs a few strong men to support it. However, Wang's online killed these martial arts masters as easily as killing chickens. After killing everyone, Wang's online picked up a stone from the ground. Whoops! I saw Wang's online flick his wrist. The broken stone in his hand flew out with a loud sound. Lin Yuan and Shen Xiao were extremely surprised and obviously did not understand what Wang's online was doing. However, the next second, they understood. Only heard a muffled sound in the void. A figure suddenly emerged from the shadows and fell from the high wooden box. It looked painful and covered its shoulders. Wang's online said calmly, "Do you think I can't find you if you hide?" The man who fell from a high place was an old man. His face looked extremely gloomy, giving people a very uncomfortable feeling. The wound on his shoulder was the one that Wang's online had just injured with a stone he picked up casually. "Do you really think I didn't notice you?" Wang's online smiled. Before coming, I knew your details clearly, so how could I let any fish slip through the net? Especially, you're a big fish. The gloomy old man in front of me is none other than the leader of the organization, Hidden Thorns. He also has no name, only a code name. People on the street call him Ying Laoge. He was the one who made a deal with Xu Xining that day and sent a killer to assassinate Lin Yuan. Ying Laoge had never dared to show his face before. He resisted the pressure exuded by Wang Zonlin and used his own powers to hide in the shadows, hoping that he could escape. Even if the organization's base is destroyed, as long as his connections are still there, he still has hope of rising. If it doesn't work, he will leave the Magic City, change places, and continue to develop. It's a pity that Wang Zonlin was aware of his existence after all. With a small stone, all his hopes were shattered. Ying Laogui's face was a little slumped. He covered the wound on his shoulder and said nothing. Because he knew that today was the day of his death. Wang Zonlin asked calmly, "Don't you have anything to say?" The old ghost Ying shook his head, "No more. I did something wrong, killed the wrong person, and offended you. I admit it all. Over the years, other killer organizations have assassinated Mowu students. After all, wealth is found in danger. It's just that Wang Zonlin was just ready to use them to establish his authority after he shot the first bird. What Wang Zonlin did was not just to protect others. We also want to take this incident as an opportunity to warn all other underground forces in the Demon City. The students of Mowu, don't touch me. Whoever touches it will die. The hidden thorn of destruction is the best precedent. Now that you admit it, let's do it yourself," Wang Zonlin said lazily. He has killed enough people today and does not want to take action again. Good. Thank you, Principal Wang, for leaving me some dignity. The old ghost Ying laughed, pretending to be heroic, but a bitter smile couldn't help but appear at the corner of his mouth. It seems that today, only one person died. At the beginning, he should not have accepted Xu Xining's commission. But who could have imagined that a mere 4th-level warrior would actually be related to the principal of Mowu, and even bring about a murder for them? There is everything in this world, but there is no regret medicine. The old ghost Ying put his palms together, and a stern look flashed in his eyes. The next second, he slapped his forehead directly. Boom, accompanied by a muffled sound. Old ghost Shadow's blood flowed from all his orifices, and his body fell limply to the ground. Since then, the Hidden Thorn organization has been completely destroyed. Wang Zonlin shook his head and sighed sincerely, "We are not weak. If we can take the right path, how many strange beasts can we hunt and how much contribution can we make to mankind? What a pity." Sad sigh. Lin Yuan shrugged aside. "It's good to have strength. You can wipe out everyone else, and you can still pretend to feel sorry for them." Fortunately, Wang Zonlin can't read minds. Otherwise, he would have to crush Lin Yuan to death. However, Lin Yuan was still very grateful to Wang Zonlin from the bottom of his heart. Whatever the reason, if Wang Zonlin hadn't stepped in for him and personally destroyed Hidden Thorn, I'm afraid, given his strength, he still doesn't know when he will be able to take revenge with his own hands. This feeling of being covered by someone, it's so good. Then, Wang Zonlin turned around and said calmly, "By the way, in the next 2 months, you remember to practice well. The freshman exchange competition jointly held by major prestigious schools will begin soon. I hope you can come back to fight for a good ranking for Mowu." After Wang Zonlin said these words, Lin Yuan was slightly stunned. At this moment, he remembered that there was such a thing as a freshman exchange competition. Hold a freshman social exchange competition after the semester starts. This is a well-established tradition among major prestigious schools. The purpose is to enable freshmen from each school to maintain a sufficient sense of urgency in the competition. At the same time, this is also competition among major prestigious schools. You must know that this freshman fraternity competition is jointly organized by major prestigious schools, and it has attracted considerable attention from all parties. Many martial arts schools that are slightly less famous are eager to step on the 2 top martial arts universities, Wudu Wuhan University and Yanjing Wuhan University, to improve their reputation. Last year, the first place in the freshman friendship competition was still Yanjing Wuhan University. I have to say that as the Wuhan University with the deepest foundation, Yanjing has ranked first in the freshman friendship competition for 5 consecutive years. However, Wuhan University in the Magic City encountered Waterloo last year. The overall ranking is only ranked 4th. There are 2 other martial arts universities, stepping on the head of their MOWU and taking the top spot. 2nd place, Southeast Wuhan University. 3rd place, Zhejiang Wuhan University. Although it was squeezed to the 4th position for the first time, the impact on MOWU's reputation was not that big. But what if MOWU fails to get a good result again this year? Perhaps many people think that MOWU is no longer viable. MOWU is under a lot of pressure. Wang's Online is also under a lot of pressure. This time, MOWU must get the top 3 in the freshman friendship competition. However, this kind of thing is obviously not that simple. Zhejiang Wuhan University and Southeast Wuhan University are working hard to stabilize their top 3 positions and try to gradually replace the magical city of Wuhan University. Other martial arts universities are also watching with eager eyes. In addition, the top and best batch of warriors all chose Yanjing Wuhan University first. After all, Yanjing Wuhan University is located in the imperial capital. Resources, heritage, reputation. All of them are unmatched by other martial arts schools. Even if it is Wuhan University in the Magic City, it is only on par with Yanjing Wuhan University in terms of name. This resulted in a rather embarrassing situation. That is, although the student pool of Magic City Martial Arts University is slightly better than that of other famous schools, it is completely unable to match its reputation as a top martial arts school. So, MOWU's current situation is very embarrassing and difficult. Wang's Online even considered whether to focus on training a few students so that they can take advantage of Yanjing Wuhan University in the freshman fraternity competition and help MOWU build a wave of momentum. It's a pity that this kind of thing is too difficult. If he can have such an idea, shouldn't Yanjing Wuhan University have the same idea? It is not unreasonable for Yanjing Wuhan University to win the championship for 5 consecutive years. Just think about surpassing Yanjing Wuhan University. In the Demon City Martial Arts University, on the surface, he is the only one who is supporting the scene as the principal of demon martial arts at the level of a king. But what about Yanjing Wuhan University? The number of powerful men at the level of heavenly kings can probably be counted on one hand. Moreover, this is not to mention the unwillingness to reveal one's identity. Maybe, in Yanjing Wuhan University, an old gatekeeper might be a 9th-level heavenly king. Although this is just a joke. But it also shows that Yanjing's martial arts is like a cloud of powerful men, crouching tiger, hidden dragon. So, even someone as ambitious as Wang's Online. He also believes that as long as they, MOWU, can get the top 3 in this freshman fraternity competition, they will have accomplished their mission. Guarantee the top 3 and strive for the 2nd place. Subsequently, Wang's Online looked at Shen Xiao and Lin Yuan again. Shen Xiao, in the next 2 months, you will practice swordsmanship with me, and I will train you well. Lin Yuan was not surprised at all that Wang's Online would say such a thing. From the moment Shen Xiao was admitted to his sect, Lin Yuan knew it quite well. Wang's Online will definitely give some extra resources to Shen Xiao. Because Shen Xiao, who was taught by him personally, is the secret weapon he uses to deal with other famous schools. Although Shen Xiao's strength is not the most top-notch among the freshmen. But what Wang's Online values is not just the apparent strength, but also talent, perseverance, character, etc. Shen Xiao nodded heavily and said, "Thank you, teacher." As for you, Wang's Online turned his attention to Lin Yuan again. The latter immediately became energetic and waited for his principal to give him some substantial benefits. Unexpectedly, Wang's Online said with a smile, "As for you, just develop on your own. I think you can develop well on your own." Lin Yuan's face suddenly stiffened. This old fox. Wang's Online had a smile on his face and gave him a meaningful look. In fact, he was originally planning to allocate more cultivation resources to Lin Yuan. However, this kid is really evil. To what extent is it evil? Because of his evil nature, when Wang's Online saw him for the first time, Lin Yuan was not even a 5th-level warrior. But just in the blink of an eye, as soon as school started, Lin Yuan's vitality and blood even showed signs of being on par with Shen Xiao's. Furthermore, based on the intelligence collected by oneself, the time when I was surrounded by killers in the City of Frost, Lin Yuan took the initiative to lure 4 people away, and even killed a 6th-level mentalist. This is more than just evil nature. It's almost like becoming a demon. Some extraordinary things often seem to happen to this boy. It's like a miracle. Although Wang Zonlin was very optimistic about Lin Yuan in his heart, he did not show it. In fact, he seemed very stingy, as if he was unwilling to give Lin Yuan any benefits. But in fact, he wanted to let Lin Yuan grow freely and wildly. He would like to take a look. Lin Yuan. Can he bring some miracles to them with magic weapons? Hidden Thorn was destroyed. This caused a great uproar among the underground forces in Shanghai. Everyone saw Wang Zonlin's tough and almost cold attitude. For a time, nearly 90% of the underground forces did not dare to think anything wrong about the students of Mowu. After all, no one wants to provoke Wang Zonlin so easily. It would be such a terrifying thing for a 9th-level king to stare at you. And the news of the freshman fraternity competition in the famous school has spread more and more widely in Wuhan University. Basically, the top freshmen are all preparing for the battle day and night. Even the freshmen who are not qualified to participate pay special attention to the freshman friendship competition. After all, this is an annual ceremony organized by major famous universities. There are a total of 10 places for those who can represent our school. Among them, there are 7 main players and 3 substitutes. Basically, new students who have reached the 6th level of warrior strength can be steadily selected as the main team members. Filled circle for freshmen whose strength is around the peak of the 5th level, the problem is not that big. As for the new students whose strength is below this, they need to compete. The selection process is naturally open and transparent. However, there are exceptions. Just like Lin Yuan, he was directly picked out by Wang Zonlin and forced to the bench, occupying one of the 3 substitutes. Although Wang Zonlin did this, some of it was not in line with the regulations of Mowu. But who made him the principal of Mowu? Regulation. His words are the rules. Although Wang Zonlin acted a little hastily, Lin Yuan's strength was there after all. You know, this is the ruthless man who killed Xu Xining instantly with one blow. Furthermore, what Wang Zonlin gave Lin Yuan was just a substitute seat. Under such circumstances, few people would jump out to question Lin Yuan or Wang Zonlin's decision. Although no one doubted it, Lin Yuan himself was extremely depressed. What the hell, if you open a back door for me, then open a good back door for me. What do you mean by giving me a bench? Avenging private revenge. Just to disgust me all of a sudden. Lin Yuan was quite unconvinced. He felt that if he competed fairly with others, he would be able to get a main position by saying less. However, Wang Zonlin is now forced to take the substitute position. Originally, Lin Yuan wanted to go to Wang Zonlin to argue. Wait until he walked into the principal's office. Wang Zonlin glanced at him with a joking look. Before Lin Yuan could speak, he silently took off the divine sword from his waist. It was slapped on the table gently but not too hard. Then Lin Yuan gave up decisively and silently walked out of the principal's office. There is really no need to go against the 9th-level Heavenly King. It is worth mentioning that he knew 3 of the 10 people in Mowu's formation. Shen Xiao, of course there is no need to mention it. Under Wang Zonlin's deliberate training, Shen Xiao's strength can be described as rapid, and he easily won a position among the starting 7. The remaining 2 people Lin Yuan knew, like him, all stayed on the bench. One of them is Chu Yu. When he saw her name, Lin Yuan felt that his mind was slightly dazed. This little girl actually managed to sneak in and out of the list of 10 people by virtue of her own strength. You must know that in such a big event as the freshman fraternity game, almost no backdoor situations are allowed to happen. After all, it is related to the reputation of the school. So, no matter how strong the power background behind Chu Yu is, it has nothing to do with her being selected among these 10 people. When Lin Yuan saw the name of the last substitute, he was even more confused. Because Mowu is the last substitute. It's Xu Xining. Xu Xining was actually selected among the 10 people. What makes Lin Yuan even more unbelievable is that this guy was actually shortlisted based on his own strength. It seems that he has been forced to practice during the 2 months he was imprisoned in the Xu family. The family specially invited a martial arts master for him to give him one-on-one teaching. Furthermore, step-by-step elixirs were specially prepared for him to help him steadily improve his strength. The potential of the heirs of these big families is quite high. This is not to say that their martial arts talents are so high. It's about the resources that the family behind them can provide them, which are quite terrifying. Under 2 months of training, Xu Xining's martial arts strength can almost be said to have improved by leaps and bounds. By the end of the special training, Xu Xining's own energy and blood had reached 48,000 points, which was even 3,000 points higher than Lin Yuan. This is already a quite scary value. You should know that when your qi and blood reach 50,000 points, you have officially entered the ranks of 6th level warriors. Xu Xining now is definitely a peak 5th level warrior. If it weren't for his lack of combat experience, with his energy and blood, he would even have a chance to be among the starting 7. I have to say that life is really about fate. The 3 substitutes happened to be him, Chu Yu and Xu Xining. Although Xu Xining has provoked Lin Yuan before, he still has a clear distinction between right and wrong. Xu Xining has been duly punished for this matter. Next, if Xu Xining does not take the initiative to provoke him, Lin Yuan will not bother him. In everything, put the overall situation first. Suppose that among the 10 people in their Mowu formation, there was internal strife. Then I'm afraid Wang Zonlin will be angry. There are less than 4 days left before the freshman fraternity competition of prestigious schools officially begins. However, Lin Yuan and the others had already started preparing for their trip in advance. After all, the organizer of this prestigious freshman fraternity competition is Yanjing Wuhan University. So, within these 3 days, they must rush to Yanjing before they can compete. Mowu, principal's office. 10 people came out of the battle and stood in front of Wang Zonlin with solemn faces. They are the 10 strongest people selected among the new students of Mowu. Wang Zonlin walked past them. The next second, a coercion exclusive to the king-level powerhouse suddenly emerged like a tsunami. Under such a sudden outbreak of pressure, everyone present had their knees slightly bent and their faces turned red. However, facing Wang Zonlin, who took the initiative to release his pressure, Lin Yuan and others reacted very quickly. They didn't hesitate and unleashed all their energy and blood. Facing the pressure of the king-level powerhouse, everyone must do their best. Wang Zonlin's eyes swept across their faces with interest, and he said calmly, "This is just the beginning. If you feel that you can't hold on, you can tell me." Subsequently, the pressure he released gradually increased. Logically speaking, an ordinary 5th-level warrior would have been forced to kneel on the ground by this pressure. However, the person who can be selected among the 10 people in front of him is no ordinary warrior. But among the more than 3,000 new students of magic martial arts, they are the best and the best. Under the pressure of Wang Zonlin, even Chu Yu persisted. Her pretty face was red, she clenched her fists tightly, gritted her teeth, and held on for dear life. Among these 10 people, the only one who can't resist Wang Zonlin's pressure is probably Xu Xining. His face turned red, his knees were bent to the limit, and they were shaking constantly. Obviously, Wang Zonlin only needs to release a little more pressure, and Xu Xining will completely fall to his knees on the ground. You must know that coercion does not mean that you are strong enough to resist. This is somewhat similar to a mental shock. It's like when people see a giant thing that is countless times bigger than themselves, they will tremble from the bottom of their hearts. This is caused by so-called coercion. Obviously, Xu Xining has too little experience. Like Lin Yuan, although he is slightly inferior in strength of qi and blood, his experience is much richer than Xu Xining. The first time he went out of the city to hunt exotic beasts, he encountered a 5th-level lion mastiff. The first time I took over the mission of the martial arts club, I was chased by a 6th-level psychic. Moreover, I also felt the momentum of the 8th-level alien beast Ice Ghost Demon Armored Dragon up close. Even Wang Zonlin released his pressure in front of him. Hence, Lin Yuan behaved as the slightly more relaxed one among the others. Very good. Wang Zonlin nodded and finally withdrew his pressure. The pressure was suddenly withdrawn, and Xu Xining almost fell to his knees on the ground. Fortunately, he stopped in time and barely managed to avoid making a fool of himself. We students of Mowu should have such a spirit, such a backbone. I hope that in 3 days, you can bring this strength and blood to the martial arts stage. I hope your performance will impress everyone. Under Wang Zonline's encouragement, everyone nodded heavily. This trip is to bring glory to the school. It's also for the sake of making a name for myself. It is no exaggeration to say that every year at the freshman fraternity party of prestigious schools, there will be several monsters who are so powerful that they are unforgettable. You must know that these monsters have emerged from among the top freshmen from major prestigious schools by virtue of their own strength. It's hard to describe them simply as geniuses or monsters. He is completely a genius among geniuses and a monster among monsters. Several such existences appear every year. If you don't die halfway, these people will eventually be able to reach the highest point of strength. Their prospects and future are limitless. Half an hour later, they were under the leadership of Wang Zonline, boarding the train to Yanjing. A few magic martial arts instructors were also accompanying him. Among them, there were 2 mentors who had previously participated in the siege of the Ice Demon Armored Dragon. The Red Flame Witch, Li Fengyu. Blood Lotus Monk, Wang Tianji. Chu Yu naturally chose to sit with Lin Yuan. There is no shyness at all. After seeing this, Wang Zonline glanced at Lin Yuan meaningfully, and the corners of his mouth curved slightly. It seems to be saying, you are brave enough to even squander the daughter of the Chu family. However, Wang Zonline soon stopped laughing. Because the red flame which Li Fengyu naturally sat down on the seat next to Wang Zonline, her face showed a bit of the shy attitude of a little daughter. This way, Lin Yuan and Chu Yu were chatting and laughing happily. They look exactly like a couple in love. If the destination was not Yanjing Wuhan University, the two of them looked like they were on a honeymoon trip. Xu Xining happened to be sitting behind the two of them, and the burning jealousy in his eyes almost ignited Lin Yuan. However, Xu Xining finally endured it. After all, he had just been released from 2 months of confinement, and he didn't want to provoke Lin Yuan anymore. Furthermore, regarding the relationship between Principal Wang Zonline and him and Shen Xiao, if a quarrel really breaks out, it is absolutely impossible for him to be partial to himself. Xu Xining endured it painfully, her nails digging into her flesh and blood. You said the position he picked was the same. Ordinary people don't want to eat dog food, so they just stay far away, out of sight and out of mind. It was better for him that he specially chose a seat behind Lin Yuan and Chu Yu to sit. This is completely because I want to die. However, Xu Xining is not the only one who is having a hard time. Our Principal Wang, also under the care of the red flame which Li Fengyu Xiaonao Yiren, retreated steadily and almost lost his ability to speak. Lin Yuan can almost understand the mood of his principal. He would probably rather face 3 9th level beasts at the same time than face Li Fengyu sitting next to him. When it comes to dealing with women, Wang Zonline simply doesn't have the courage of a 9th level heavenly king. If you want to give Wang Zonline a rank, estimated to be at the level of a first-order warrior. Fortunately, the sound of the motor train's whistle finally freed Wang Zonline. Classmates, Yanjing has arrived, follow me closely, don't get lost. Wang Zonline waved his hand with a look of relief on his face. All new students brought by prestigious schools are transported by special cars. All expenses are borne by Yanjing Wuhan University. After all, as the organizer of this freshman competition, Yanjing Wuhan University still has to do some good things. After everyone got on the bus, the vehicle drove directly in the direction of Yanjing Wuhan University. Is this the imperial capital? It looks so big. Chu Yu looked outside through the car window. There is a big difference between the imperial capital and the magical capital. Comparatively, the Magic City is more like a city that never sleeps, the kind of prosperity that can be seen with the naked eye. The Imperial City does not look so dazzling, but in fact it is full of low-key luxury. After all, this is the heart of China. Someone once described it. People who come out of the devil's capital often have a superficial sense of unruliness, because they think they have seen all the prosperity of the world. The people who come out of the imperial capital have a kind of arrogance that goes deep into their bones. This kind of pride is engraved in the bones. They may be polite to you on the surface, but deep down they should still look down on you. Although this statement may not be completely accurate, it is also quite one-sided. But it can also explain to a certain extent the difference between the Demon City and the Imperial City. Is this your first time in the imperial capital too? Lin Yuan touched Chu Yu's head and asked with a smile. Chu Yu nodded and replied in a low voice, Yes, actually, I have only stayed in two places, Magic City and Junhai, since I was born. My parents rarely take me with them when they go out. Lin Yuan smiled and said, so that's it. Then we should take this opportunity to gain a lot of experience. After the freshman fraternity competition is over, if there is still time, I will take you for a walk around the imperial capital. Chu Yu said excitedly, okay. It's a deal. Xu Xining, who was in the back row, said in a sour tone, oh, I'm afraid that after you finish the competition, you won't even be in the mood to go shopping. Lin Yuan turned around, smiled and said, Brother Xu, why are you so unsure of yourself? Although you are weak, you are a little weak. But if you are weak alone, it will not necessarily drag down our overall ranking. After all, you are not a weight. Xu Xining was choked so much that he almost lost his breath. Chu Yu on the side covered his mouth and chuckled. Lin Yuan's mouth is really poisonous. Before Xu Xining could think of how to retort, the car slowly stopped. Yanjing Wuhan University is here. I'll come back to you to settle the accounts. Xu Xining angrily said a harsh word and chose to get out of the car. It's no use, Master Xu, I'll forget about it. Lin Yuan smiled, took Chu Yu's hand and led her out of the car. Shen Xiao followed Lin Yuan silently. He is really not very good at quarrels. Moreover, Lin Yuan has such a mouth, he doesn't need anyone else to help him quarrel. The remaining starting players did not pay attention to the dispute between the two. After all, those who can be selected as one of the 7 main team members are all the best among the freshmen of Mowu. This kind of people often have their own pride, principles and persistence. They simply look down upon the disputes between the benches. Even if Xu Xining is the eldest son of the Xu family, they will not stoop down to kneel down and lick her. Wang Zonlin led everyone out of the car. A gray-haired but energetic old man in tang suit walked over and opened his arms towards Wang Zonlin. Lin Yuan couldn't help but take another look at the other person. Because these days, it is really rare for people to wear tang suits. However, the old man in front of him wore the tang suit very appropriately, making him look very comfortable. Senior Li, Wang Zonlin laughed, opened his arms and hugged the other person. Young boy Wang, you are much stronger. From a distance, I can feel the energy and blood in your body. Young man, you are so energetic. Unstoppable. The old man in tang suit laughed heartily, and after hugging him, he patted Wang Zonlin on the shoulder quite affectionately. Senior Li, you are ridiculous. You are an old man with great ambitions. It will take us young people a long time to catch up with you. Wang Zonlin cupped his hands and replied rather humbly. The two of them chatted very enthusiastically. Lin Yuan behind him felt more and more uncomfortable as he listened. How come these words you say to each other sound so much like business flattery and flattery? The world of these old foxes is really hypocritical. Looking at Lin Yuan's strange expression, Shen Xiao said softly, Lin Yuan, do you know who this old gentleman is? Lin Yuan asked subconsciously, who is it? Shen Xiao calmly replied, he is the vice president of Yanjing Wuhan University, the love-breaking knife, Li Tianqiu. After hearing the words, love-breaking knife, Li Tianqiu, Lin Yuan's expression became even weirder, and he lowered his voice and said, is he that old bachelor? Yanjing Wuhan University, also known as Jingwu University for short by the outside world. Jingwuan Qingdao's name is particularly resounding. After all, Yanjing Wuhan University has only 3 vice presidents in total. This love-breaking knife, Li Tianqiu is one of them. Even people like Lin Yuan who don't know much about Yanjing Wuhan University have heard of his name. Most importantly, Li Tianqiu is so unique. The sword technique he practiced was called the Duanqing sword, also known as the Weqing sword. The reason why it is named like this is because practicing this sword technique requires the person who practices the sword to concentrate on the sword and completely cut off the 7 emotions and 6 desires. In fact, the so-called love-cutting knife does not mean that people completely cut off all emotions. After all, if there are no emotions and 6 desires, people cannot be called human beings. But Li Tianqiu is quite stubborn. So, Li Tianqiu still has no wife even at this age. For the rest of my life, I have been obsessed with sword martial arts. People give me the nickname, Jingwu Old Bachelor. It is rumored that when Wang's online first rose to prominence, Li Tianqiu even noticed him and wanted to teach him the love-cutting sword technique. At that time, Wang's online was young and ambitious, but he was frightened by Li Tianqiu. Do you know that your love-breaking knife is also called the bachelor's knife? You don't want to have a wife, but I still do. So during that period, when Wang's online saw Li Tianqiu, he was like a mouse seeing a cat, and he was afraid to avoid him. Later, Li Tianqiu must have felt something, so he simply didn't force it. Later on, the relationship between the two of them was quite good, and they were friends who had been together for many years. To this day, if Wang's online has any questions about sword skills, he will come to Li Tianqiu for advice. Boy Wang, are these your students of Mowu? Li Tianqiu narrowed his eyes and looked at Lin Yuan and the others. Wang's online nodded, smiled and said, they are all the pride of my Mowu. Haha, being young is so good. Full of vitality and full of hope. Li Tianqiu laughed, and then changed the subject and said, since everyone is here, stop waiting at the door and bring your students in. I have to say that Yanjing Wuhan University paid enough attention to Wang's online and the others, and even sent a vice president to receive them personally. Under the leadership of Li Tianqiu, they soon arrived in front of an extremely luxurious dormitory building. It is more like a 5-star hotel than a dormitory building. Because there is a garden in front of the dormitory building, which is deep and quiet. There is even a man-made stream that slowly flows along the channel inside the garden. Such beautiful scenery, even if it is built by man, is really refreshing. Your room is arranged on the 3rd floor. Each person has an independent room with an independent toilet and shower room. If you want to practice, you can go to Jingwu's independent training room. I have already greeted them. You can enter with your student card. After Li Tianqiu finished speaking, he waved directly and asked the people behind him to hand over the room cards to everyone. Okay, everyone has been on the high-speed train for a long time. Let's go back and rest as soon as possible. Subsequently, Wang's online waved his hand and dismissed everyone. However, he really had no intention of going upstairs. Obviously, there is still something to discuss between him and Li Tianqiu. Yanjing, Wangtian Pavilion. This is not a building within the Yanjing Wuhan University, but a tea house in the imperial capital. The building is 12 stories high, as if it can touch the sky. At this moment, Wang's online and Li Tianqiu were sitting opposite each other, with a cup of fragrant tea in front of them. The place they were at was the top floor of Wangtian Pavilion. After all, with their status as the two of them, one is the principal of Mowu and the other is the vice principal of Jingwu, no matter where they go, they will be treated as guests. Wang, you and I have known each other for a long time. So I won't say any more polite words. The resources listed on this list are our Jingwu's greatest sincerity. Li Tianqiu slowly took out a list from his arms and handed it to Wang's online. Wang's online took the list, glanced at it briefly, and said with a smile, as expected of Wuhan University in the imperial capital, he is generous when talking about business. You gave me more than I expected. Li Tianqiu smiled. In that case, then. Happy to work with. Wang's online stretched out his hand. Li Tianqiu also stretched out his hand and shook it with him. Happy cooperation. There is not only competition but also cooperation between Yanjing Wuhan University and Shanghai Wudu University. The cooperation content that Wang's online and Li Tianqiu talked about today was none other than the Tian Shuang Han vein that they had previously discovered from the lair of the ice demon armored dragon. Yanjing Wuhan University wants to use other resources to exchange for the ownership of half of the Tianshuang Hanmai from Wang's online. Wang's online was a little moved. Although the Sky Frost Cold Veins is very useful, it is only for ice attribute warriors or superpowers. How many warriors of this type have been produced by the Magic City Martial Arts University in total? Therefore, in Wang's online's eyes, using half of the ownership rights of the Tian Shuang Han Veian in exchange for the martial arts resources that Mowu needs more is a very cost-effective thing. Since Yanjing Wuhan University is sincere, it is natural that we can talk about it. After the matter was settled, the atmosphere at the tea ceremony became much more relaxed. Li Tianqiu glanced at him and asked calmly, "Boy Wang, how is the level of the freshmen of your Mowu class? There must be some genius monsters, right?" Wang Zonlin laughed and said with a smile, no, the students in this class are not very good. All the really good ones were picked up by your Yanjing Wuhan University. How can there be so many geniuses and monsters left to us as magic weapons? Wang, I don't want to hear what you are saying. Li Tianqiu glanced at him and said angrily, why am I still hiding this? I'm not here to find out information for Jingwu, I'm just chatting with old friends. Do I need to worry so much? Wang Zonlin laughed dumbly. Senior, I really don't mean that. Furthermore, no matter how hard you hide it, aren't you the ones from Yanjing Wuhan University who are number 1? This time we come, the main thing is to protect 3 and compete for 2, and don't repeat the same mistakes as last year. Li Tianqiu felt that what Wang Zonlin said was reasonable, so he simply said nothing, calmly picked up the teacup in front of him and took a sip. Then Wang Zonlin smiled and said, but this time Mowu has produced 2 very interesting freshmen. Senior Li, if you are interested, you can pay attention to it. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.